Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After podcast.
What's up, everyone? It is I, Ryan Neil Wayne, alongside Joe King, and we are going to be ranking every season of Survivor. And this is the second part of that series, that video. After season 50, we did one for season 40, up to 40 seasons way
Mhm.
back in 2020. But since we've added 10 more to the list, it's only fitting that we continue our adventure. And I would say that this is Joe yelled at me a bit during the last one, and I feel like
Yeah.
he's going to yell at me a bit more during this one.
Yeah, because like before I was yelling at you at like things that you thought were like decent seasons that I thought were trash. Now we're getting to ones that you think are decent seasons, but I think are S tier.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, it's funny because obviously Peridium, huge YouTuber, is doing his series right now. His last episode had some really hot takes for some people,
Yeah.
and
Hey,
maybe even hotter takes of what might be in his top five or
y-
top 10.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild to see some of the seasons that have already peaked its head up, and what seasons haven't yet. So,
Four new era seasons and Gabon is still in the race. Let's go.
yeah, I think that's I think pretty may have spoke some crack or something when he made his list. I don't know. That's I think that's wrong, but you know what? He can do what he wants.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that is the right for opinions, and keep that in
Yeah,
mind,
yeah, but
Joe.
I'm gonna roast you for your opinion still.
I'll roast you the fuck back,
I
good
hope
sir.
you do. I don't want you to hold back. I want you to tell me when my opinions suck too if you think they suck.
All right, yeah. But I guess it's all one slide, right? So we'll do a quick recap of 50 through 26.
It is not. They are two different
Oh,
slides, two different
oh,
PowerPoints. So,
gotcha. Well, do you know recap from 50 to 26?
um, no, you got to go watch the last episode, everyone.
Good transition. All right, so let's get started.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
here we go. Ranked at number 25 collectively between us, Ryan. We have the Australian Outback.
Very nice.
And I mean, we have essentially the same opinion about this season.
Yeah. Just off by a couple. Hold on, I need to move you.
Mhm.
Yeah. We established it's in the middle. It's just one slided one way, the other slided the other way.
Yeah.
I think it's a great season.
Hmm.
Like it gave us Jerry, gave us Colby. You have so many Alicia. There's a lot of like good characters within this season,
Hmm.
and yeah, I think it brings you to a fun area as well. And I think it's one of the better old school era pre All Star seasons.
Agreed. I think it's better than Borneo. I feel it's like a little more like people are aware that they're actually in a game, unlike Borneo. So
Yeah,
it definitely feels better in that aspect too. But still that old school vibe. And yeah, I think Colby, like, he literally became a freaking like hero after this, even though he loses the game. Um and yeah, Jerry, this is the start of her, as like this the queen villainess, I guess you would call, like, what she kind of
yeah,
later goes into. And then yeah, Tina, obviously an underrated winner, I think, especially at the time, because she isn't even in the premiere episode. She is like invisible in like the start of the game. um
which is also it's
yeah.
also funny because she is a alternate, the first ever alternate winner, and they did it
Mhm.
in season two.
Yeah, exactly. So and also this is the season that went 41 days, 42 days. I forgot how it's
42 days.
42
Yeah,
days. Yeah. So just kind of like weird, interesting facts about about that. So yeah.
yeah. Obviously, one of the downsides, Scoopin's in the season, so it does taint it a little bit.
Yeah.
But
But a little cathartic when you now look back and see him fall into the fire.
yeah, yeah. Um, and then also the season gave us another controversial contestant, Jeff Martin. I do feel like
Yeah.
with time and stuff, it's like what he did was bad. However, it's like time has passed. I think he understood what he did was wrong, things like that. I forgive
Yeah,
him a little bit about. Granted, I'm not, transgender or anything like that, but
yeah,
yeah, but like this was when Jeff Varner was still popular. But
yeah.
yeah,
Yep. But yeah, no, I think it's decent, but I agree. I don't really the urge. The thing is with some of these old school seasons, there's not the urge to go back and watch them as much as, especially when you start introducing idols and the gameplay is a lot more fluid. Like those are rewatchable seasons. This one's a little tougher for me on a rewatch.
yeah, I think it's like one of the ones where, and this is when you go back, like if you're introducing someone to it, or if you're rewatching everything, it's like if you want to show them a old school era first, I think this is well, I think there's two go-tos for me. This is like one where you get a lot of returnees coming from, so I think it's a good one. Um, because this is like because overall, now granted, some people do get a little purpled and all that, and
Mhm.
reality competition shows were still a newer concept, and so they were trying to figure out like the best way to do it. But I think overall, pretty solid cast.
Mhm.
You root for our golden Texas boy a lot. Tina is a
Mhm.
nice winner, as well as like she's someone where uh even if she wasn't like the flashiest like person on the cast, she was
Mhm.
still like nice to see. She had a lot of like she was a good like middle ground for a lot of the season, like a voice of reason and kind of
Mhm.
like the person you could go to.
Yeah. Yeah, so it ends up right here in the middle for us, number 25. You ready to see what number 24 is?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we got Game Changers.
We both have a little different of opinion. It's still like middle of the pack.
Yeah.
I like game changers. I think boot order in the pre-merge was a little heartbreaking, not gonna lie.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it made me feel.
Yeah.
So I can't fault it too much for that. Um, but I do like it. It's like it did it did give us some like really cool like gameplay, I would say, like afterwards. And then it was kind of like wild watching everything unfold
Mhm.
because like those hits hit hard. And then I do like Sarah Lucina as a winner. So that was another plus for me, why it's like a few higher. And
Mhm.
then, some iconic moments like the iconic Sari boot here going out without a single vote cast against her. Insane.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd say that that's also a very polarizing moment because for some people, it's very much like they shouldn't have allowed that many advantages to save people at Final Six. They should have maybe thought about that a little better. But I mean, obviously, yeah, in the moment, you're like, what the fuck just happened? Um, we just talked about Varner, but here he is again. I mean, his moment does truthfully suck the sales out for at least the next few episodes of the season moving forward.
Uh, I will say it just kind of like it's one of those episodes where it's like, all right, it's this one. I mean, I still enjoy the
Yeah.
rest of it, but it's like it is a little tough getting through that, especially when you know it's
Yeah.
about to happen.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly. Yeah, like it's not as bad as the Dan Spilo one, but that's because he goes out in that episode. So at least like but I still think it takes about a few episodes of recovery before I feel like it starts being feeling like Survivor again. It definitely is kind of like let's try to get back on track. There's also the Malcolm Double Trouble Council where he has essentially no way to really survive it. It just kind of ends up he gets
brutal.
screwed. Um, so there's and like you said, the boot order definitely sucks. This is a cast filled with like half game changers and then half are random people on Brant Steel Simulator that just randomly gets sent.
I feel there were some people production wise, like you see a lot of people that didn't make the or didn't win the ballot in
Yeah.
second chances.
Yeah.
I think part of that reason is like production like them. It's just like, like they were like look, like they're not going to put someone on the ballot that production doesn't want to be on,
Yeah.
like by some like off chance. So like all of those people were like in the running. And I
Yeah.
guess like I feel there was like possibility for some of these people to come back. Like
Yeah.
Culpepper, I think Culpepper is someone where like, all right, he had that like little bit of a villain persona kind of like thrown on him in the first bit. And then people like Monica, but like, do they like him because of Monica? That's the thing. I will say Brad Culpepper did kind of own his, like he owned his
Mhm.
previous game and was like, yeah, like, and he was trying to be a bit more of the nice guy in this one, even like giving up the merch fee so other people can have it.
Mhm.
He did lose it a little bit near the end where he, but like I like obviously when people do better than their previous time, and he's one of the
Mhm.
ones where he went from someone that could have definitely been kind of like brushed off and like not really ever spoken about again to being like, okay, this dude broke a record and
Yeah.
became like more of a serious threat moving forward.
And if Sarah goes out of Final Four, Brad Culpepper wins the game. But instead takes
Yeah.
out Ty. Um, so yeah, but like I said, there's obviously a lot of people. Like obviously there's the Haley Fords, there's the Sierra Dawn Thomases,
Yeah.
I yeah, Caleb,
All
like
right. It made sense to bring Caleb back
as a game changer.
as a game changer. No.
Mhm.
This was a season where it was just like they had to call it something other than All Stars, and they were like game changers.
Yeah,
I mean, like if maybe Caleb's criteria on Big Brother, maybe.
maybe, but
Even then, like yeah, I liked him more for his like his kind of like charisma and stuff that he had on Big Brother than like his
mhm,
gameplay. He came from a really good season though.
mhm.
But yeah, I would
Yeah,
say like overall, yeah, there were some like odd picks, but like I feel like it gave us like like gave some people different avenues to like shine. Now, granted, it didn't work for everyone. Like Sierra, whatever I forget how to say her whole name.
Sierra Dawn Thomas.
Sierra Dawn Tom. I had to look her up when
Yeah,
she was announced. I was like, who is this? Oh wait, yeah. Um, it is
yeah.
crazy when they give you an invisible. Or like I just didn't remember her that much. But
Yeah,
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 and then
and
it
she made it like enough in Worlds Apart to have gotten content and be memorable, but they
yeah,
they
and then this one, like I remember I'm like, all right, she might be able to win it. I don't know. Like this one, I felt like there was a point in this season where tallest blade of grass usually got cut.
yeah,
Um, and I think that was entertaining to watch because it was like, all right, you don't really know like who's really gonna win. It was like, oh, like I'm hoping Sarah does well, but I don't know. Like, are we getting a Zeke edit where he's the winner, stuff like that? Oh no,
mhm,
they took out Zeke. Are we gonna see Andrea? What? Aubrey? I don't know. It's like,
mhm,
is it gonna be Ty? Is it gonna be Culpepper?
yeah,
Is Sari finally gonna get the W? Things like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. This season also has, in my opinion, one of my top 10 worst players to ever see on Survivor in Debbie. I absolutely do not like seeing Debbie on screen.
She's
it's
yeah,
infuriating most of the time.
a little impartial. Like, I'm someone where I'm like, all right, I see why they like her or like casting likes her. Is she my favorite or is she my favorite like archetype of like the kooky like the kooky person?
Hmm.
No. But I feel like it made sense because she was like from a recent season, stuff like that. Definitely wanted to play again.
Hmm. Yeah. Like I said, like there's definitely fun moments in this, but it's I think it's the least cohesive all-star season that Survivor has. like just like from a like casting standpoint, it feels like it's a little just like we're just gonna kind of figure it out and see what happens.
Yeah. Uh it's I don't know, like themes are fun, and then it kind of like themes are always fun, but then again, sometimes you don't want to pigeon your whole stuff like there. But
Yeah.
like I would say it helps with casting, and then it kind of
Yeah.
like defines like Game Changers is very vague.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
sometimes Survivor likes to be a little vague just so they can make their own like little creative choices.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
no,
But they definitely had 20 game changers that they could have actually pulled from, and they just they didn't do it.
no.
And hearing Jeff Probst, by the way, talk about why each of them deserves to be called a game changer is really funny for some certain people. It's like he just has like kind of no way, but he's just like, but if you look into her eyes, you can tell that she's going to play the game. That's Haley Ford right there.
Sure. I mean, like, not to say anything gets Haley, but she wasn't the most memorable from her season. And this
Yeah.
one, the thing I remember her most is being shocked that she was eliminated instead of Ozzy, which,
Yeah.
yeah, I get that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh,
it also sucks for Sierra Easton because I think first off, Second Chance really gave her this like role of voting out her mom, even though it's like she just kind of went with the numbers because otherwise she's next anyway. So she kind of has to just go with it. And so Jeff starts marketing her as she makes one of the most backstabbing, devious moves ever of voting out her mom. And I feel like
yeah.
this season, she pays the repercussions for that marketing because now she went into the season with that. And at the first chance, everyone's just like, okay, let's check out Sierra. Because like she's not like an active like devious player that can like make
No.
a bunch of moves. That's not her play style. So when you get kind of marketed as like that's your thing, like you just can't really get out of it.
Well, I think part of it was it is interesting when you come in return because Sierra in the original her original season, we'll get to that
Mm-hmm.
obviously
Yeah.
later, but in her original season, um she was a bit more of like she was still like there, but then she
Yeah.
had that moment where she took charge, and that was the one where when you come back and you kind of have that moment of like, oh, this is like what made me feel powerful, this is what I want to do as a game, you know
Mm-hmm.
as a game changer, which I will say she falls more into that category.
Yeah.
Where she's like, hey, and you see it in Cambodia, she does have that like air about her. Like Sierra, her last two like tribal councils in Blood versus Water, she brought into Game Changers. And like you do see her kind of like start to hit the floor running in this one, especially if it's first tribal council.
Mm-hmm.
But then they were like, she is a bit of a threat. She'll do it. And like, I do think you are right. Marketing might play that. Sometimes reputation,
Yeah.
when your reputation precedes you as a player, sometimes it's like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
well, you might be a little cooked. Like,
But I don't even think it's like her or the players of her season were like, look at this devious move Sierra did by voting out her mom. It's like purely on Jeff Probst's like marketing of talking about her. Like
yeah,
that's like he's the one who's really like because he obviously he's a storyteller. He knows that that's a better story than just like oh she just went with the numbers.
exactly.
So he's going to do that, but because of doing that, it definitely I think kind of handcuffed her moving forward as a player. Like I think if she ever comes back, I just don't see her really getting anywhere in a game because it's going to be like let's get her, let's just get her.
It is. We'll talk to her a bit more about her a bit more because she's in a few upcoming ones,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like she did worse each time she has played, and so I
Mm-hmm.
feel like she's less likely to come back as a result.
Yeah.
Um, But it is kind of sad because I do enjoy her, but I feel like she is a little unlikely because of that.
Hmm.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, you come out for a third time, you're like, and you just have like a bad going. That just be
Yeah,
how it be.
yeah,
But you never. I will say, never say never. But like, she's someone where, especially since a lot of time has passed, it would be interesting to see how she navigates the game because she's not just a 20 something anymore.
yeah.
Also, one of the biggest. I agree with you because we kind of talked about it, but like Sandra coming back for this season
Yeah, it did not need to
was the
happen.
biggest what the hell? Because I'm
Yeah,
like, you already won twice. You know you're not going to win again.
yeah,
I would be like, no, you have like the perfect record and stuff. Don't taint
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think the only season she should have ever agreed to after winning Heroes versus Villains is a Winners at War. Like I think
I
that's
agree.
like you can say okay, sure, because everyone has won the game. If you go out, like it is what it is. But for this season to go out pre-merge, it does like hurt you.
Yeah. I mean, after being a two-time winner and like
Yeah,
two-time winner and one of those not being a winning season, because there is that
yeah,
distinction as well. It is hard to like come into this season and be like, yeah, especially when it's disproportionate. There's only like a
yeah,
handful of winners here.
yeah.
All of them go home early.
Yeah, and the
So
thing
yeah.
is, Sandra is very clearly still wanting to play Survivor. She like talks to pretty much every new winner and like is already pre-gaming with people in case there's another season that she gets
Well,
called
I mean,
for.
yeah, I mean, like, and she's still running the circuit. I mean, like,
Yeah,
she was on 99 to Beat. She was on Snake in the Grass. She was on Traders as well. Like, it's something
yeah,
that she is good at the game, obviously. You
mhm,
don't win twice just by happenstance.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
but similar in a way, I guess to Sierra. Like, I think she's a good player in terms of when she's under the radar. Now her
yeah.
threat level is so over the radar that she can't play the way that she did to win her two games, and because of that, I think especially in the game of Survivor, I just don't ever see her making it as deep because she's now a threat. Whereas before she used to be like, well, she's not going to win challenges. We can take her to the end. Um, but now, no one's gonna even let her sniff a final tribal.
Oh, we're definitely going to talk about her because
Yeah,
another thing, Winners at War hasn't come up yet.
yeah,
That is an interesting like case study to like look at as well
mm-hmm.
when it comes to that. But it's someone where I don't know. I feel like she also is the one where she kind of also got labeled with the everyone, anyone except me kind of mentality, which I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's something where I wouldn't say it's necessarily like groundbreaking thing. It's like
yeah,
obviously it's like you do want to like make it far with your buddies and stuff, but at the same
mm-hmm.
time it's $1 million unless you're like super super rich. It's like that shit matters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think because she was in her face and uh it's tough to talk about the season and not talk about the legacy of like what else they've done, and I think that's another
Yeah,
thing too. uh
yeah,
I would say like this really put Sarah on the map. I think when she was cast, obviously they were hoping for a Tony Sarah reunion. It
mm-hmm.
didn't quite happen, but I think it benefited Sarah a lot because she didn't have that
Agreed.
I wouldn't say baggage, but like that association where she'll be like, "All right, what do you think Tony's gonna do?" or stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, and we've seen when Tony and Sarah are working together, Tony's getting the screen time.
Yeah.
Sarah's a little more of the backseat kind of passenger, at least how it gets edited on
Well,
Survivor.
she's a sleeper threat. She knows
Yeah,
like she knows how to, and you see it here too. It's like she's observant and she
mm-hmm.
also waits for information to come with her. That's how it led
Yeah,
to Sierra Dawn's like elimination. That's how she used the knowledge is power, or not the knowledge is power. Use the steal a vote to her advantage. Be like, all right, can I trust this person? I'm going to give it to this person that I'm a little about. Let's see if they actually play it. Let's see what they do. And then caught her red-handed.
Mhm.
Like that was a boss move and still didn't face repercussions from it.
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why this is a little higher up for me because I do like Sarah Lucina as a player,
Mhm.
and yeah, so this is
Yeah.
why it's up there. But it's lower because there are some like things like Troy Zan feels like he was just kind of there, drugged to the end, and wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And
I
I
like
would
this
I would have
season.
defended him actually at the start. Like I was because I was like, hey, he's the only one on One World that was even trying to stop Kim. And
Yeah,
like that there was at least like, he had the this is my island kind of moment where, he was trying to go out. But yeah, he just I don't know. I forgot how many commercials he had, but it had to have been like less than 12 or something. Like it felt like he was not really there.
just kind of there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we
All
talked
right,
enough about I think about game changers. Let's move on to number 23 here.
all right.
Okay, we got Survivor Samoa.
All right. So I know this is pretty high on you. You're a huge wrestle
Mhm.
fan. This was the first full season of Survivor I watched.
Mhm. Listen, I
I think
get
it's
why you have it lower. Like I'm not
yeah,
going to hate you on this one.
yeah. But all right. It's one of the ones where it's like the Russell Hand show for the most part. There's like some people you like as well. Like you do have Shambo is another like standout to me.
Mhm.
Um, Mostly because my mom's name is Shannon is also a vet, so that there is a little bit of that as well.
Mhm.
Um, but it's like even if I remember what happens on, like it's a huge begonging on one side, and like I do like like this gave us Laura, and I'm like, all right, I see why they brought her back from there. Russell Swan had a sad elimination.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's like if I'm thinking like who shines most, it is the Russell show.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, he dominates the game, but like it is for a reason. He does absolutely change what Survivor is moving forwards.
yes,
Like
he does.
Survivor looks very different if Russell never came on the show. Like
Well,
we would have
yeah,
still had people waiting for clues for like I guaranteed people would have still been waiting for clues to this day to get idols. Um, people would be playing scared. I mean, a lot of people still play scared, but like he like kind of made it like, hey, you can like play the game and you can like be making big shots, and like a lot of people started jumping on board here. Now he plays socially terrible. Like that's the thing. He is socially terrible. But a lot of people in the future become inspired by the gameplay mechanics of Russell. And then they're like, okay, let me now do that, but add some social charm. That's where you get your Tony Vlachoses coming through.
yeah.
Um,
They look at there's like, all right, who's our next evil bald guy?
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
But I will say I also think Dave Ball is really funny. He is I think he is really good. I wish that we got more of him on the season. I think had he been on a different season, that wasn't this one, I do think he would have been a huge standout. I do like him, but I mean the idol play, the takeout Kelly. I mean that's like one of the best tribal councils in Survivor.
well, I mean, also after like Russell kind of got humbled because he wasted an idol,
Yeah,
finds another one, and then has that, and it's like really great move.
yeah,
So like no, like Russell because like he didn't just do that, he also kind of like shaped some of reality TV because like, oh, if you were a Hans, they wanted you on the show.
yeah.
For better or worse, because I
Mhm.
believe his brother or cousin went on Big Brother and he got ejected relatively fast.
Yeah, Willie Hans.
Willie Hans, yeah. So it's like he's someone where he very much was a meteor that hit Survivor and like changed the game forever.
Hmm.
Where, it's like there are some archetypes where you kind of look out for is like, oh, they seem like a Parvati type. Oh, they seem like this. A Russell type, unless you're a fellow Chaos Gremlin. I don't know if I'm pointing at you from your
No,
output, wherever you are.
I'm above you on my screen, so yeah.
Yeah, so unless you're a Chaos Gremlin, you're not most likely wanting to work with him. There's a reason why in future seasons they, they throw challenges or like he's the first to go on that try. They're like, no, we don't
Yeah.
want him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he really benefits, especially coming back without anyone seeing him. So he's never going to be able to play Survivor again. Like, if
No.
they, first off, I don't think production wants him on the show anymore. I feel like that ship has sailed. But even if they did, yeah, he's just going to be the first one gone from whatever tribe with whatever like cohesion there is. He's just going to be the first targets.
I will say it is a bit of a shame that we don't see
Yeah,
him in a new era or open era season.
yeah,
Still crazy about that name.
yeah, yeah.
But like it is something where I would love to see how, because the thing is, they used him too often, too fast. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it was smart to use him right after, because then he can kind of hide his gameplay a little bit and have him be this like guy that just comes in and messes things up for everyone.
Mhm.
But I do feel they should have waited five, like 10 seasons later, like a different like portion, because they used his like at the time 3 times on really, really fast. And I was like, oh well, rip.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And then yeah, I mean, Redemption Island's just like a sad way for his story to end. So it's just,
It's
uh,
sad but a little fitting.
yeah, yeah. But like for a Russell Hans fan like me,
I know.
you want to see him go out in a blaze of glory.
It, I'm gonna compare it to Homelander. Not that he is bad as hell, but like in
Mhm.
Survivor, he is someone where like he's a big, big baddie and stuff, and like you kind of, it's like seeing him like get his kind of like just starts and that little everything. It's a narrative wise, it's a it's a suitable ending for a villain who caused so much havoc
Mhm.
throughout like a the span of like I guess like 4 months, 3 months on the island.
Yeah.
But like it is something like I said, I would love to see how he would play again in
Mhm.
like with more of the modern stuff that has been
Yeah.
accumulated over the years.
Yeah. But I mean, coming back here quickly to Samoa, I mean, he's just great in confessionals. Like, I don't think there had been someone as electric as often as Russell here in confessionals, like ever. Like, you obviously
Mhm.
have great confessionalists who have like their moments, but sometimes like they'll have kind of like whatever moments. Russell, it felt like he was always giving you something kind of insane or like to the max level in some way that always made you go like, oh my gosh, like what's he going to say next? um
Yeah, he's burning socks. He's like he gives
yeah.
a sob story, and it's like, yeah, I've never been I'm not a firefighter. I didn't do any of that stuff. I'm a
Yeah.
millionaire already. I just want to see to tell people how easy it is to win this game.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, he just, if he was just nicer, like he genuinely wins this game. Um, but he just, it's similar to what I think how Stephanie LaGrossa actually plays, where I think she can like get her group and she's going to work with that group. And if you're not in that group, it's a little bit like, fuck you, like go off, go play. I don't care if you like me or not. Russell has that same kind of mentality in the games he plays. Like he'll work with his group, but even then, like you see next season, I mean, he literally is like saying mean things even to his alliance members in the home stretch.
Mhm.
Um, admittedly, he had played just a bunch of Survivor at that point, and his brain was probably fried. Because that's just how it goes. But yeah, if he just understood, like, hey, these people are going to decide if I win this game or not.
Well, the thing is, he played 2 seasons in a row, and
Yeah.
I mean, they brought this up in season 50 where it's like you don't have that edit to kind of humble you.
Yeah.
Also, he made it to the finals of his last one. He didn't know that he lost.
Yeah, he thought he won.
Yeah, so like he's coming in there with that energy as well. Um, so like he didn't have that experience to see how he came across on TV, how he came across to other people. And like they try to give him a stern talking to at tribal council, but like
Hmm.
when your competition was Natalie White and Mick and stuff like that, and it was like, oh well, I'm the one that did all this stuff. What did they do?
Yeah.
Like that was his like that was his like reasoning to be like, no, I have nothing to fear.
Hmm.
Now the edit would also suggest that.
Yeah.
However, Natalie White winning, she's probably I want to see the Natalie cut. I know Survivor said
Yeah.
no, they don't recut anything unless it's like getting rid of a music or getting rid of music or splitting something up into two episodes for streaming.
Hmm.
But I feel like like this is one of the incidences I'm like, I want to see the Natalie White cut. How did she navigate this game and ended up winning? So it feels a bit more earned and justified. Because I
Yeah.
feel like just having Russell not win, having someone else do it, isn't as satisfying as a ending as it could have been. It's still a
Yeah.
little funny to watch him be like, oh, I'll give you $10,000 if I could just have the title of Sole Survivor. He was just
Yeah.
trying to get the title of it, but
Yeah. Do you know how many confessionals Natalie White got in the season?
19,
Less.
18,
Less.
several teen,
Less.
16.
Less.
I know I can't skip a number because that will be number 15.
It is 15. If you skipped it there, that would have been hilarious.
That's why I didn't skip. I was like, nope, as soon as I do it.
Yeah, if Natalie is 15 compared to Russell's 108.
That's just barely a confessional an episode.
Yeah, yeah. So like I do think that that is a mistake. I love the Russell content, but you like no one on the season had 40 confessionals or more besides Russell.
Yeah.
Like the next highest was what, Shambo or J
Yeah,
no
that makes sense.
Jason maybe. I'm trying to see.
I can see those two because it did seem like Jason
Yeah,
more
yeah,
so
yeah, it's
was his
Shambo.
right hand man.
Yeah, it was Shambo with 39, Jason at 33.
Yeah. But and I think that's the thing that puts it lower on my list. It was like,
Uh-huh.
don't get me wrong, Russell made the show.
Yeah.
And especially that being my full season made it great to watch. However,
Hmm.
in a rewatch, and I'm someone where I appreciate a great ensemble
Hmm.
more, and that's why this season is lower on the list for me. If someone
Yeah.
has it in their top like 25 or top 20, I think it's fair to say, yeah.
Hmm.
Especially if they're a huge Russell fan, I'm like, like I see why.
Yeah.
But
But like
yeah,
even Russell is not idle play moves to take out Eric and get like the votes get flipped over to make sure that he goes there at the merge. And then to then turn it against John after the Kelly, or like to get John to vote with them to in the next vote after the Kelly one, and then have be like, okay, well, John just flipped on you guys, and then take out John. Like, it is a very good gameplay in terms of how he kind of whittles down those numbers, because the faux four did go in as the underdogs. This wasn't a case of a Pagongi where, oh, we just have the numbers, let's just march our way to the end.
yeah,
It did involve taking out the bigger alliance one by one.
it did. It very much did.
Mhm.
But
Okay,
yeah,
moving on next to number 22, we have Survivor Amazon.
this is where Joe is gonna yell at me.
Yeah, go ahead, go speak your mind.
It's been a while since I watched this one.
I can
Uh,
tell.
the reason why it was like a little lower, it's a very important reason. It's because Orion went home early.
Okay, we got to invalidate your entire list here. This is insane.
No, 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 no. No, but I do think there is a lot of rootable people here. It's something where um you obviously have Rob Sensenino. I do like Heidi. I do like some people on this cast. I just don't remember it as much as other seasons. And I think that's my thing.
Sounds like a
Uh
you problem.
it might be, yes, it
Yeah.
might be a me problem. But it led some to, it had Survivor's first deaf confession contestant slash I think first contestant with a disability.
Mhm.
Which
I think so. I can't think of anyone else.
nah. So that was something, like unique they did. And that impacted her game a little bit as well, because like if you're a lip reader and you don't have any light to see, then it's like tough. But I think it is, especially if you're a huge Rob Cesternino fan, this is like the season for you. I do enjoy Rob. It just I think Ryan needs a rewatch. That's my main thing. But
Yeah,
there were some other
I
ones that are a bit more vivid in my head that I placed higher as a result.
Ryan, let's find a weekend. We'll hop on Zoom and I'll watch the season with you. I'll sit you down and I'll let you remember how great of a season this is because Rosenstein also electric confessionalist. Literally yet again without this season you do not get a lot of gameplay that we get in Modern Survivor of the flipping and being able to go fluidly between alliances and groups. Rob Cesternino creates it here. Um, I think Matthew is hilarious because of how fucking crazy and psychotic he always is edited to look like. He's just
That's
sharpening
true.
his machete, and Rob's just like, I think he's gonna kill us, you know?
A
um,
little bit.
yeah.
There's one other thing
Oh yeah, go ahead.
that I gotta say. This is another, and it's weird that it's back to back, but Jenna's like edit not being very like prominent stuff. There is a
Mm-hmm.
rumor they did that on purpose because it
Mm-hmm.
got leaked, and then they wanted to subvert expectations,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a disservice to Jenna. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's tough also because she really wins because of the end game immunity run that she goes on. Like she should have been taken out before then. Like that was always kind of the plan, but um, so I don't know. Maybe she wasn't given too much, but like I still think she was like, I think she's a better winner than Natalie White. Like she's still better than Natalie, so I enjoy that. I think anyone beats Matthew. So for me, I'm like, it makes sense
Yeah.
that she still manages to beat him in the end. Um,
Also, she's the only person to date to give away individual immunity and
yeah,
survive the same tribal council.
yeah, exactly.
Um, which that does, like help her out a lot is the
Hmm.
fact that it's like she was able to still win nonetheless.
Hmm.
But yeah, it
Yeah,
just felt like, at least with screen time, it felt like Heidi got a little bit more attention.
yeah,
Which is kind of crazy too that they never brought Heidi back either.
yeah. She felt like someone that you'd imagine would have come back at some point. Maybe she just turned it down. I mean, her and Jenna both were on Playboy, so they were marketed heavily on Survivor.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But I also love the Butch moment where he burns down the shelter at final four.
I mean, Magic 8 Ball also got destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's such a funny end to the season where Butch does that. It's great. There's a lot of moments where I'm just like, this is great. Nowadays it would never fly, but the chocolate and peanut butter moments where Jeff has them, Jenna and Heidi strip down for it, like it doesn't fly today, but at the time that was like one of the top 10 moments of Survivor for a very long time.
Yep, because all the horny men.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, hey, I'm not gonna lie, I love peanut butter too. If I was starving, I might do the same.
Mhm.
Uh, so I don't blame the girls for doing that either.
Yeah,
But yes, it
exactly.
is, especially like at the time, a very iconic moment on Survivor.
Yeah, I think even when they did like top moments going into heroes versus villains, that was like one of the ones that like I think Jeff Probst even talked about. It's like it was a moment at that time where I was like, wow, what a crazy thing that happened on reality TV.
Yeah. Um, like I say, I don't blame them. I love peanut butter.
Yeah.
Like it's one of my favorite like snacks slash foods.
Exactly. Okay. Well, Brian, I hope that you can watch the season and realize that this is criminal. This is criminal what you did. 35. I
I'm
mean,
going after I don't know. It's gonna be tough because I'm watching all the MCU projects and then so like find a time, Erin has been asking about Survivor, but it's like getting her schedules and everything.
yeah.
So I do plan on rewatching seasons. It's
Okay.
just tricky because of Ryan's schedule.
Yeah. I mean, fair, but I think this is the second best old school season. Only better one is Pro Island, so
I'll get to Pearl Islands, but
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Ready for number 21?
Yeah.
Okay. We have Ko Wrong.
Now, I think you have a great ensemble here. It's like, oh, they're gonna do Brawn versus Brain versus Beauty again. I mean, it makes sense, but it's like, how do you top that season? This season doesn't. However, it still gives us a pretty solid season.
Mhm.
Um, I think introduce some like faves to a lot of people. And there's a lot of like iconic moments throughout this one. And
Mhm.
I would say the downside, which is unfortunate because it is one of its key things that separates it from other seasons, it has the most medevacs out of any other Survivor season,
Yeah.
which always kind of brings things down for me because, it's not fun.
Yeah, I'm
But,
surprised that they didn't make it into a final two because of that.
well,
I
the
mean,
reason they don't
Micronesia did.
I think the reason they didn't do, which was a little risky because they had a even number jury as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have
I
done
still don't know.
fire at the live reunion.
That would have been insane.
Yeah.
But, I think maybe because so many people were used to Final Three as well. And then also the reason they do that, I guess, it's the whole fallen angel thing, it being at third place, because it had a history of like
Yeah.
someone very, very beloved. And then they did do that for Micronesia. And then who
Mhm.
goes home? Surrey.
Surrey. Yeah, it would have been interesting because I do think Michelle probably wins final immunity, takes out Aubrey, beats Ty, and then how does that handle Aubrey in the future? Like that might be very different changing of the timelines that happen if Aubrey
I think
doesn't
it's
make it to the end.
I think it's a huge thing because she, obviously ends up winning her fourth time around.
Mhm.
And it is a bit of a full circle moment for her coming so close, not doing so
Yeah,
hot. Well, more so her third time. I think
yeah,
like there were ways she could have won Game Changer, but it
hmm
was still like she wasn't really edited and stuff. So like coming back, so it all started with this one. This season is why we fell in love with Aubrey in the first
hmm
place.
Yeah.
And that says a lot because there's a lot of like I said, iconic people here too. It gave
Yeah.
us Ty, who very beloved.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's still, by the way, our best version of Aubrey we've ever seen. Like, even though she wins 50, this is still the better version that we saw on screen of Aubrey.
I do agree. I do
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Um, but and that's like, it gave us some iconic. You give us Scott and Jason. You give us Sydney as well.
Mhm.
You have like a lot of like cool people. You do get um some like interesting early tribal councils, but I feel like there's a lot of good story moments here as well as a solid cast, which
Mhm.
was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, the Ty not giving the idol to be a super idol to
Yeah,
Scott's. I mean, like like that, like that's Ty's game changer moment right there. Is not
yeah.
doing that. So
He stood up to the bullies of the season. I mean, like they
yeah.
were like very first like at first they were like, yeah, they just refer to the blonde girl as Blondie on there. So, yeah, she's not really a brawn, like stuff
Yeah.
like that. It was like uh but
Yeah.
even then, like, you know, it was it was a
It
crazy season to watch.
yeah, this season was interesting because I think each tribe had one person that didn't quite like line up to what they were going for. Like I think obviously I feel bad. Forgot her name, but her name is Blondie. I can't remember her actual name, unfortunately. But she doesn't really feel like she goes in that type. Ty, like he's got a great person, but like if you look at, if you just said here's the beautiful tribe, you wouldn't immediately be like, oh yeah, Ty fits it. And then I think Debbie, I mean, she's just a bit of a nut job for a lot of it. So I'm like a little
Yeah,
interesting that she's in the brain tribe. So
I
I feel
mean, yeah,
it
yeah.
definitely felt like they knew that they wanted to do this theme again, and they had this cast, and they just kind of had to be like, here we go.
I
Let's
mean,
just do this.
you can kind of justify anyone. Well, there are some more than others that they kind of apply to, but they don't want to be like, oh, all right, we have to put all the beautiful women on the beauty tribe. They want to like
Yeah.
spread it out a little bit as well.
Mhm.
Um, but it is something where it is popular. And then like they were probably like, oh, we really want them on the season. All right, screw it, yeah. But then again, I do feel like okay, beauty means more than just looks in that regard. There's inner beauty, also Gardner making things look nicer. So there were, like there was enough there for Ty to be justified putting on the
Yeah.
beauty
But
tribe.
I think you could do that about literally anyone if you really want to justify for them to be on these archetypes. But like,
So
if
100%.
if you were just to like put them on paper, like, would you be like, this makes sense? I think that they would be a little bit like question marks, a little bit like, I don't know. Especially kind of compared to the first season. I mean, like, admittedly, yeah, sure, some of the brain tribes seemed like they were a little frizzled, but like you still had like Jatia, who was like a rocket scientist. There were still like on paper, like they all kind of made sense on all
Yeah.
three tribes. This is the season that there's a few more where you're kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess we'll just kind of go with it. Bless you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Um, Hey, there's a reason why the other one is ranked higher than this, but I
Yeah.
still think pretty solid. Michelle was a surprise winner to I think a lot of people,
Mhm.
but I feel like especially after Winners at War, it retroactively made her win a little bit better.
Mhm.
Um, and you can't necessarily blame it sometimes because we've watched the show enough. You get more
Mhm.
screen time if you're on the losing tribe because they have to go to
Yeah.
tribal council. She never went to tribal council prior,
Yeah.
and so they're not going to focus on her as much if you don't get the opportunities because they have to
Yeah.
show the strategy and everything going on the losing tribe in
Yeah.
order for that to happen.
Yeah, Survivor's also just always had an issue with editing a pure social winner, like someone who really like that's their kind of thing. Like she wins some end game challenges, but because like when you win end game challenges, it can just kind of not feel cohesive because if that's like the only thing that they end up really showing you is that and maybe you just kind of being like a nice person here or there. It doesn't feel like a fully cohesive win. Whereas you have someone like Aubrey who started off rough, but then ended up kind of coming into her own as a strategist and making most of the moves post merge. Um, it's as a fan, you definitely obviously are like you want to go for the person that you're literally seeing the moves being made from. But when you're on the island, that's a lot of times that's just not the case. You're voting for the people that you connected with the most.
Yeah. And that's sometimes, and I think it's become more apparent as we've talked about like seasons and we've watched it. It's island threat versus like there because like the show is going to edit how they're going to edit. And I feel like you can even still find favorites beyond what you see in the edit.
Mhm.
Like, because I still like, and we'll get to season 50. But like, it's like Tiffany, one of the biggest omissions of like edit probably ever, especially with how well she did
Yeah.
in the game itself. Uh, it was weird to see, like her even get praise from Jeff and everything at the finale and stuff, being like, "Oh, you're one of our best players" and stuff, and then still like you gave her that kind of edit.
Yeah,
Um,
it's what they do nowadays with fifth place finishers. If you go back to pretty much every fifth place finisher in the new era, like they all like just don't really get a huge edit, and then suddenly in like the final episode or last two episodes, it's like they're this huge threat that's going to win the game, and it's just like oh, and they do it because they are like oh we got to speed through an elimination in the finale because there's so much to do, so they don't want you to
which
get
I
too
think is
attached to someone, which is
which I think is no, I feel like I'm always going to say make us feel for like
yeah,
the person. Like,
I
that's
agree.
part of like editing. And also there's a you just still like when you edit a social like player as your
Mhm.
winner, it's like you still are able to show them as a social player and stuff like
Yeah,
that. You know how to edit a social player, you just do that but just
yeah,
longer and they end up winning.
yeah. Yeah, if someone's a good social player, I guarantee you they have like everyone on the beach, or at least most people, have confessionals about how much they like this person. Like you got to make sure to include those and not just one or two, and then ignore them until the end game.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah. But overall, I enjoy this season. I will say, like, this is a starter season. I feel like
Mhm.
you can, is it like if someone wanted to, like depending on the person, I'd be like, all right, this is like recent enough. There's
Mhm.
some like familiar faces here. If I know someone will like someone on the tribe, then maybe.
Yeah,
But I feel like it's up there for me.
this was my second season I ever watched. It was this one,
It's
and I love Ty at the time. I remember being a huge Ty fan.
I still like Ty. He's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Okay, let's move on next to number 20. We have Survivor 50.
And we are entering the top 20. So
Yeah.
uh I understand why this season is low for some people. I know why it's high for me because I do care about the ensemble. I
Mhm.
think editing needed a lot of work.
Yeah.
Um I do feel Audrey, the way she was like portrayed early merge and then like just kind of like just happened to win at the end,
Mhm.
like we started to see it and stuff like that, but I feel like there was a lot of fun moments throughout it. uh I do wish that it was paced a little better.
Mhm.
But we had a great ensemble. I think it had some good story moments as well. It did suck losing some people early, like rest in peace Q, Charlie. Well, we kind of knew Charlie was going to have a tough time, but like
Yeah.
the way he went out, and you know, even though they labeled the blood moon, as like the merge and stuff like that. I was like, it's not really a merge. I
Yeah.
still enjoyed it for what it was. I'm like, oh, 3-in-1 episodes. Do I think it was the best way they executed it? Absolutely not, especially since one of those tribal councils was essentially a medevac.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like you got to see so many favorites for the first time in a while. You got to see some new era people shine a little better and have some better placements or better stories. You got to see some of your old favorites in a new era season. You got to see some great story moments, like some iconic ones too. Like I still think the fire making challenge between Rizzo and Jonathan was, even though spoiled and everything, it was like crazy that that happened, where it's like, all
Mhm.
right, one of them will redeem themselves, the other one will be haunted by their past again.
Yeah.
um and like I feel like a lot of people had a lot of great story moments throughout it. It had a lot of faces that I enjoyed seeing. So yeah, I'm gonna like it a little more. We'll see how I feel about it, you know next time we do this the
Yeah.
list 5 years from now, when we're
Yeah.
doing all 60 seasons.
Yeah,
But
I suspect it's gonna drop.
it might.
That's my suspicion because listen, yes, there were good moments in the season. I think it started off very strong. Um, but by God, I hate how many twists are happening in here that are just kind of it's Mario Party until Final Seven. Once the Blood Moon happens, it genuinely is Mario Party, for a very long time, and that's why Aubrey's win kind of feels weird, is that you can't do too much when there's just a lot of crazy twists happening and you're just kind of trying to survive. When everyone so has to play very defensively, it prevents like active gameplay from a lot of people because everyone's just like, fuck, this crazy thing's happening, I gotta do something. The Christian Hubicki one in an urn is literally like, I mean, it just is suicide to anyone
Yeah.
who lost that. It was terrible. The Mr. Beast coin, even though it worked out in the season, I still, just from a gameplay mechanic, do not enjoy the idea that someone could potentially go out by flipping a coin wrong. Like that's just not Survivor, you know. I'm very against the Blood Moon. I genuinely think it was a bottom three twist of Survivor history. Just the way everything was implemented in terms of how it was, randomly divided, into groups of five. Five's terrible number for voting, especially when it's the merge and everyone's just like, I just need to be safe just to make it to the jury, so everyone's going to play very defensively. um Genevieve gets super screwed because she finds two idols, and we have a Billie Eilish boomerang idol. Idol is one of the best parts of Survivor. This season blunders that mechanic. Like one
It
of the
does.
best mechanics of Survivor gets blundered in this big season of Survivor. So I have to
It
hold that
is.
against it.
I I do as well. There's a reason why it's not like granted,
Mhm.
it's tough to like place it higher than some of the ones that are like 14 and above for me. But yeah, I think there are some things where the Billie Eilish boomerang idol was just like, no, it's something like I hope they learn from their mistake here. They never bring it back because it was a
Yeah,
huge flop.
yeah.
Um,
You're banking on a very small chance of it working because it is a small chance. I mean,
mhm,
we're going to see most of the time someone who is given a free idol is going to be more willing to just play it. I mean, obviously Ozzy gets blindsided with it at that point, but you also have to hope that you
yes.
survive long enough to make it to that point of blindsiding someone.
Also, it's like, yeah, and that's what happened too, because like Genevieve got the math right, but didn't do that.
Yeah,
And then like, that was her first choice. Obviously, with the second time around, it's like, okay, I guess Rizzo might be, because like he's young, he's cocky, he's arrogant, maybe.
yeah,
Like they might boot him because he's the new kid on the block. Um, but yeah, so it was tough. And then like the one time it got played was, like she was just burning it. So our winner, obviously,
Mhm.
burned it so people can keep her, like her name out of their mouths. Yeah. Uh, I know we're like dunking on a little bit. It is in your top 30, so I'm sure there's things you did enjoy.
Like I said, I think the first two episodes are the some of the best episodes, especially in the new era of Survivor. I think Rick Devens and Christian Hubicki are
Best
like,
romance
yeah,
in Survivor history.
I think their stock in the Survivor community does go up from the season. So
100%.
and those are two of my favorites. So I was super happy to see that they, you know, got as much screen time and got to kind of give us as much entertainment. But it can't go much higher. I will say I have Game Changers, All Stars, and Survivor 50 all kind of in the same area because they all have, in my opinion, moments that I do really like, but there's also moments that just kind of like deflate the season for me in different ways. Um and this season really is just game mechanics and a lot of the production decisions. The editing of the final five specifically, I think, is
Yeah.
atrocious. Going into the finale, the only season that had their finalists be edited as bad as this season was Nicaragua. That's the only other season. Every other season, the finalists had more, at least some finalists had way more content. So
Yeah.
this season really, really dropped the ball in kind of like the final closing moments of the season.
I feel like because we already talked about
Mhm.
Tiffany's horrendous edit, and that will still
Yeah.
be my that's another thing because I like Tiffany. I met her a few times, and also like when they gave Tiffany the mic this season, she ate.
Yeah.
Especially when we got to the merge. She, like you know, and I feel like if they gave I understand why they didn't give Joe like more edit because like
Yeah.
Joe was very one dimensional in this
Mhm.
edit where it was like, no matter what, don't blindside, even though I had the blindside to get to the end and stuff. Like it was pretty obviously he was not going to win.
Yeah.
I feel like if they gave Jonathan if they didn't give him that goose egg, there is more credibility that he could win this game. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
reason he got second place, and I think he did prove that he is a good player. This time around, he did make improvements.
Yeah.
He did have to kind of like handle things, and then he did appoint the mayor of Ponderosa to someone that like wasn't on good terms with after
Yeah.
the Camilla vote was very fresh,
Yeah.
and so that was like one of his big downfalls.
Yeah, there were a lot of editing signs that basically pointed to that it had to be Aubrey, especially in the intro. The letters from home, the fact that everyone gets them and they gave it to Ozzy, Cirie, Devins, and Aubrey, like you know that it's going to be one of those four winning because they're getting that emotional content when everyone on the cast could have gotten it. Like Jonathan, like you got to give like give more time to that and let more people be in, including Jonathan, Rizzo, or you gotta just like kind of move past and not even show that they're getting that moment because the fact that you showed those four specifically, it was like it's got to be one of these, and then guess what? Shortly afterwards, Ozzy goes, then Devins and Cirie goes, and
in
then
sequential order.
yeah, so it's like, okay, well, there goes all the people that you literally just told us are the people we should be watching for winner.
Yeah. Um,
Also,
I
the
don't know.
rice thing with Jonathan, like yet again, it's just like the episode right before, just like really saying, like, yeah, he's not gonna win this game. Like, let's show him sticking his tongue into the jar of rice.
Yeah. No. Uh, but I think the things I really enjoyed about this season, honestly, was the charactery people. We got Coach back after like 10 something years, like 14, 13. I don't know. Don't make me do math, Joe.
Mhm.
Uh and then he comes into, like he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna be the Tide Walker," which is funny because it was recently referenced in the Pokemon regional on their broadcast that someone named their one of their Pokemon coach, and no, it was hilarious and it was fun to watch because they kept making references to it. And then you had him not just with his haikus, you had him, like being golf coach, and it was fun to watch. You had Christian Hibiki, whether he was with Devons, whether he wasn't with Devons, still doing great. Devons himself. We got a better version of Ozzy, which no one expected going into.
Yeah.
We got to see Suri again, and we even saw Rizzo got to play with some of his favorites, and then even working with two legends, like
Mhm.
the Suri's Wizard of Oz, which was fun. We
Yeah.
got to see Stephanie again. Yeah. And then even though Genevieve, some of my faves did go home a little early, like Genevieve, Q, and Kyle. It was still nice seeing them again.
Mhm. Yeah, like I said, there's fun to be found here. It's just to me like I care a lot about game design. I think that game design and editing, those are usually two things that I talk a lot about in our reviews, especially.
You
Um,
do.
and those are two things that I do think the season blunders in a lot of aspects.
If it was better, it would be a top 10 season for me. I feel like
Yeah.
even if the editing
It,
was better,
it,
it could be
it
a top
had the
10 season.
potential. It like genuinely, if Survivor got out of its own way, this could have been a really great season. But unfortunately, um, they're just not at that point. like they wanna mangle themselves in as much as possible. They
I
can't
want to play too,
they can't trust the cast to play the game. They gotta make up their own shit.
which is crazy because it's like you chose this cast.
Yeah. Uh,
All right.
I'm scared, and the reason this might even drop further for me is if the open era has a lot of the Mario Party esque kind of twists that happen in the post merge. Like if a lot of those things are staying as core elements of Survivor moving forward, I'm going to hold this season even more because right now I'm trying to like be like it's a one and done thing. They just kind of had to do it for this season specifically. But if we get the blood moon back, if we get the double do whatever it is in there, if we get the one in the urn, if stuff like that is coming back into these next couple of seasons, I'm gonna be more critical of it.
I don't think it'll be as heavy because
Mm,
these are returnees and it was for 50, so it was going to be
yeah,
bigger and better. I feel like it will be like New Era, but they're not going to restrain themselves to certain New Era tropes, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. Okay,
All right.
moving on next to number 19, we have Vanuatu.
Yes.
Vanuatu.
This one is a fun season because, all right, so they do guys versus girls again. However, it's like guys are like completely inept, and then like there's like four guys that look exactly the same, and two of them are even called John.
Yeah.
And then you get like a lie, it's the Fat Five, even though I'm pretty sure one of them wasn't really fat, but he's like, sure, I'm fat. I'll be fat. That means I get to stay in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, and then it gave us a pretty solid, like it gave us a fun, like unique thing that we haven't seen before, where it's like, oh, the older guys kind of get together and take charge of the tribe. And then you get a lot of fun people on the others. You get Amy, you get Eliza as well. And like Chris, I think is a very strong like winner in the sense like he very much had a rags to riches kind of like edit. And it
Mhm.
happened more than once throughout the scene. So I think he's one of the best underdogs we've seen on Survivor.
Yeah, I think so I have this pretty high. I understand why you have it lower. Because I do think the pre-merge is a bit of a snore fest for a good chunk of it. I think Rory is great as like a
Rory is.
pre-jury character. But besides that, there's definitely not too many great moments. Like there, I guess there's the earthquake confessional kind of, or not the earthquake, the volcano confessional kind of
Yeah.
situation where everything's shaken. Like that's a great moment. But for the most part, yeah, it's kind of just taking out a bunch of no-name people who we kind of don't really get to know for the pre-merge. But then like right when the merge happens and it is Chris versus the women, it is electric. Like every episode
Yes.
is like top tier. How does Chris going to survive this? How is he going to get through? And he just starts dismantling that group bit by bit all the way until he gets to the very end. And
Yeah.
it's great. I mean, he even gets some immunities there in the end stretch too, which he costs the team the first challenge.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look like he's someone who's going to be good in challenges, but then you know it ends up being a situation where he's in the end with some of those girls who also were not very good in challenges, and he manages to find his right openings. And sometimes that's all you got
Yeah.
to do is just be in the end stretch with people who are also not very good in those challenges.
Also, bringing Twyla to the end was also a strong move. Like
Yeah,
Twyla was a pretty strong contestant. However, she swore on her son, and this is especially at a time where
you don't do that.
Sur- Survivor was more sentimental.
Hmm.
And so it's like, no, that's a huge no-no.
Hmm.
And then, that's why Chris, like that's not the only reason, but like that was like another thing, like when he had the decision. Also, I love that they need to bring back endurance final immunity challenges
Yeah,
because like true endurance, not some motion or anything
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Because while there is an endurance component, I mean like holding out. Who wants it more? Not just
Hmm.
who slips up.
Yeah,
The bow and arrow thing was iconic and super cool.
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a good season, but I do think, yeah, the pre-merge and it is a thing for me for casting when it's like I said, I need to love the ensemble.
Hmm.
And like, in the beginning when I can't tell four of your tribe mates apart from each other,
Hmm.
it's a little bit of a disservice. Like,
Yeah. I
name them right. I guess there's one that looks slightly different. He's more blonde than the other three.
yeah. Oh, there one of them is named Brady. I know one of them is
Brady.
Brady. Um uh
John 1, John 2.
yeah, is one of them called JP? Is that what he calls them?
How they differentiate each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, again, I mean, they're not the reasons that the season's great. Uh, but also, I loved the immunity challenge where Rory has to win that slingshot challenge in order
That was
to,
cool.
because he goes home if he doesn't do that, and he clutches out there. Because at that time, I was like rooting for Rory. I was like, come on, Rory, make it to the merge. Uh, yeah.
It was, like, I mean, like, there was other, like, I like Bubba. I like Sergeant as well.
Mhm.
Like, there were some, like, like, and I think that was the cool thing about the Fat Five. It was like, it was giving us a little something different.
Yeah.
Which, especially after, like, All Stars and, like, if you go through like old school Survivor, it is typically the younger guys kind of like get together and they take out the older dudes and stuff like that. This one, they're like,
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna put a few more people that are on the older side and see what happens.
Yeah.
But it's weird to say older guys because I don't know how old Chris Darty was when he played.
I think it's only like mid 30s. Like if I had to guess.
I want to check because if I'm older than him now, that's gonna be
I don't think you are. I think it was probably like a 35, 36 is my guess. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I paid that
we
much
we
attention.
we have the power of
Yeah.
Google.
Okay. We are waiting here.
All
We're
right,
waiting.
55. So, yeah, so he would have been like
Okay.
early to mid 30s when when this came out. But
Okay, yeah.
that's a weird thing growing older. Sometimes you are older, like you rewatch something and people are younger than you when you first watched it.
Yeah.
Now that you first watch, it's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, I watched WWE, and it's crazy now when I see like a 22-year-old being in WWE. I'm just like, holy shit, it's like
You're
doing
just a
that.
baby.
I know, right? uh
But yeah.
but yeah, no,
Um,
I do really enjoy the season. I think Chris is a great winner. But I do understand because I think a lot of people can be turned off in those first like 6 episodes. Um,
yeah.
because it's not firing on the all cylinders that it will. But like if you can just rough it through, like it's worth it.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, moving on next to number 18, we have Survivor 45, which is the highest rated New Era season for me.
Yeah, this is there's one I put there's one or two that I put a little higher.
Mhm.
Um this was I would say this is one where a lot of people would say that this was the first like good season of the new era.
Mhm.
Where there weren't too many qualms except for two quits early on. Um They gave us our first like tribe swap, which like switched things up, which was nice. And it gave us some favorites to like root for. It gave us Dee. It
Mhm.
gave us Emily, who watched the show. It gave us it was fun to watch. I would say all the way through. You have Caleb with his iconic shot in the dark play, the first ever
Yep.
successful one where it was not wasted,
Mhm.
and it led to a crazy elimination. Um, and it bought him some time on the island.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it is a great season. I would say, and it did like an interesting thing too with Bruce, where he went from like someone that everyone was like, like, oh, we all feel bad for Bruce. He's so beloved and stuff. And then it kind of flipped the narrative on him so crazily, you
Uh,
know?
he was way more of a character than I had any guess. Like he was at one point like flopping, like going like whoop whoop, like he's
He
doing
was
like
doing the
all the
robot.
yeah, he was like wow, which is and then made Katura's entire storyline about how much she hates Bruce.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about too because like it retroactively it was like okay this is why Bruce was on Tika.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? It's like imagine if he got to interact with Carolyn. Like like genuinely he would have probably insulated himself very well in that Tika tribe.
I feel like it would have been the Toy Story 2 meme where it's Jam Jam and Carolyn and then it's Carson over the garbage can is like I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah.
But watching Bruce this season was entertaining and especially
Mhm.
like because he found an idol. He had this like kinship with Kelly, and Kelly was like, dude,
Mhm.
really? Uh, and it kind of led to her own elimination. You had the Reba 4 that dominated this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of things to love about this season.
Yeah, I mean, and also like the Lulu losers, I think, is a very it was one of the more entertaining disaster tribes, in my opinion. Um, I think the elimination of Brandon, whereas the decision between him or Emily was actually like a very interesting debate about do we take out the person who's less social with everyone but can do better in challenges, or do we take out the person who literally can't climb a ladder in a challenge? But he's more likable.
Yeah,
And then obviously they keep Emily in that situation. And then the next round, Caleb swoops up Emily and says, "Hey, I can pick her up because she's on her own." Sabaya gets the idol, but she can't. She's got to roast it at tribal council. So the entire
it,
tribal council, she's just like, "I don't care about what you're doing. I'm getting my idol."
and it's funny. It's like I did describe this season as we were watching it, the total drama island of
Mhm.
Survivor,
Yeah,
and then granted, 46 said, "Hold my beer."
yeah.
Uh, But like you did get some cartoony people. You had Jake, who I felt was like a lovable underdog,
Yeah.
as well, even though I'm not gonna lie, I laughed like crazy when he broke the challenge in
Yeah.
I was just like dying.
Yeah, exactly. He also passed out a bunch in there. That was also like something that kept happening for him, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I was rooting for him as well. I feel like when he won that final four fire making, I was like, heck yeah, obviously, and knew he wasn't gonna win because he's sitting next to D and Austin, and it's like
Yeah.
you're not beating either one of those two. But yeah, I genuinely think like out of this cast, like 15 of them I think were actually like really good casting choices,
I
which
agree.
is very rare to say on most seasons.
Um, I think yeah, because like we even talk about yeah, like another great choice. Like I like Sifu. I wish he did better.
Yeah.
Because he was entertaining. Jay Maya was someone I wanted to see more because like apart from the crush I had,
Mhm.
like all right, like she seemed cool. She, like she was a musician. She was also nerdy as well. She also like had people on the tribe she could have meshed with pretty well. It was
Mhm.
just wrong side of the votes with the Reba 4. There's Brando, who another iconic moment from the season. It's like him and Drew vibing out with Pokemon.
Uh-huh.
And then Drew just flat out being like, no, I'm not going to work with you. I'm not going to form an alliance. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Drew this season is so funny because he'll just tell you straight up if he wants to do it or not. Like he does not play the game in that like, oh, maybe let's see what happens. Like because there's also a moment with him and Jake where he just was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like
Mhm.
and he's just he'll just shut people down, which is kind of funny. Like I would almost say like if you had to classify him as either a hero or a villain, he's probably a villain of the
Yeah.
season. So I always love a good villain, someone who's willing to mix things up or just be like, screw you, dude. I'm not doing that.
It makes for good TV.
Yeah,
What can we say?
exactly.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay, let's move on next to number 17. We have Survivor 47.
Several.
Nope.
I really enjoyed this season. I feel this for a lot of people would be their number one choice, as in like the best season of the new era. Uh, Not for me, but I feel like there is a very strong argument to be had here. I think you have a lot of great storylines come through. It gave birth to some like really cool moments, and I feel like the gameplay, the structure, everything was great. It gave us the rootable one of the most rootable contestants, Andy, where he went from someone that completely dropped the ball, not even dropped the ball, like it washed away in the ocean,
Yeah.
uh, but somehow survives and then comes to his own and helps become one of the pioneers for Operation Italy. I said it right.
You did it right. not
I
not
think we need to
Project Italy or whatever you would say.
project project or the Italian
The
job.
Italian job, yeah.
Because there's a
um,
sub at 7-Eleven that is called that I
yeah,
do enjoy.
yeah.
Um, you get some interesting blind sides, you get some cool tribe dynamics, and you also get a lot of fun characters. Rome, for example, who we both wanted as our winner. This also has a special place in my heart for how if you guys don't, if you y'all who are watching for the first time don't know, Joe and I do a draft before every season. And one of my favorite stories to tell is how Joe got to choose first, and he chose Rome. We both wanted Rome because, like he's a shoutcaster. He seemed like he'd be entertaining, really cool. Joe chose him first, then hired Rome to roast me for my drafting techniques, which is ironic because he knew exactly what he was doing when he was when he was filming that cameo.
It was a great
And then
cameo, though. Great cameo by
Joe,
Rome.
it was, thank you. And then Joe had no one in the top eight. I only lost one person, Tiana, and that was at the Earn the Merge, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think Joe got humbled really, really.
Listen. Remember who the last person was picked in that draft for us?
Yep.
It was Rachel, the winner of the season.
And I still won.
Yeah. I mean, like, can you really like be happy about that win? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know if you can.
I was very happy with that.
Yeah.
You have the like no. And then I know you're not a big fan of like Rachel's win.
Mhm.
Yeah, luck definitely played a factor in the earn the merge, or not the earn the merge, the one right before right before the merge. It's weird calling it that. Anyway,
Mhm.
so the last pre-juror goes, she does get saved by Saul, and but what she does, she kind of hits the floor running from there. Because like she was in a bad spot in the middle of the game, but then she became one of the biggest threats. She became like basically the dragon to slay, but no one could slay this dragon, and she ends up winning. And having it pretty dominantly, and it's like she has a pretty strong case. And despite her, being, you know, kind of like saved by luck, she still ends up winning because that was her
Yeah.
biggest debate going into tribal council. I was like, that is the biggest like argument against Rachel. But despite
Yeah.
that, still ended up winning.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think she's the right choice at the final three. I'm not saying like, oh, Sam actually deserved to win because he didn't have the luck factors or any of that stuff. Um, and the only reason, like, I think she's I put her in the same category as the Mike Holloway, Ben Driebergen in terms of winner. They deserve their wins. They did it, but it's a win that is very hard to replicate on any season because it requires, like you said, a lot of luck. So I'm not holding this season like, oh, I rated a little lower because I think that win is illegitimate or something like that. That's not a reason. The reason I have it lower is I think that this season is basically all about like a few tribal councils that are really awesome, and then you kind of wait to get to those tribal councils. Like there's a lot like looking at casts of this compared to 45. I just feel like 45 has way more like entertaining people, whereas this one has like a few decently pretty good like good people, but it's all about like some of the moves. It's like Operation Italy, yeah, is one of the best tribal councils, one of the best episodes in the new era. And I think a lot of people are just like, that's why it's got to be the top season, is because it has Operation Italy in it. But for me, it's number three in new era. It's still decent. I still like it. But it doesn't hit the same spots as the other two new era seasons that I have above it.
Yeah, I think I mean, especially when we're in the top 20, there's always going to be things that like you place things higher because of this and this.
Mhm.
As you know, I'm a huge Genevieve fan. So
Yeah,
like this one and
and
like
I'm
her,
I'm I'm more against Genevieve. So
yeah, so that's why Joe hates me. There's also Soul and Rome's dynamic, which was I want them to get a spin-off because they were
I
too funny
them playing
together.
the Amazing Race, like that should have been the move.
Yes.
They should
And
have
then
made Soul not realize, like it would be like you're going to be playing with a mystery person, and then he shows up and it's Rome.
that'd be too funny. And then Rome's elimination
Yeah,
was the most advertised, I think, in Survivor history. But
yeah.
oh boy, was it did they eat that up? It was
Yeah.
hilarious. I will say it was also hilarious to watch after, like you get your comeuppance, don't get me wrong. But like having Jeff being like, you know what, you can sit on my chair and explain
Yeah.
Survivor to me. Like I'm watching this. I'm in like Horror Nights right there, and I'm just like pushing a button because I was injured during that time, and
Uh,
I'm just like laughing like crazy, and I'm like, this is too damn good. Like
yeah.
I, it was iconic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like
yes,
I said, yeah, I think that's one of the tribal councils that I think is memorable. Um, I do think there's a pretty good stretch after that where it's a little less for me, where I'm a little I know you like Genevieve, but my God, like she just crippled her game. Like her, I just think her game savviness it was just wrong when she takes out Soul. Like I think it like she just
that was a
destroys her
bad.
game. But like I remember when it happened, some people were like, Genevieve is one of the greatest players of all time for pulling that off. And I'm like, what are you talking about? um, so yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to say about this season?
Um, no, I think that's pretty much it.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay. On to number 16. We have The Edge of Extinction.
All right. A little higher for us. Well, a little higher for me, which is a little surprising.
That is true. I was surprised to see you rate it this high. I thought you probably would have had it in like the 20s, like early 20s.
I think, I mean, Chris Devins.
You,
Uh,
you mean
Chris
Rick Devens?
Rick Devins. Jesus Christ. No, that's a ship name. With
Yeah,
Christian
Chris
Hibicki.
Underwood.
It's like
Oh yeah.
yeah, the bromance on the island.
Mhm.
But I think you have a lot of great characters here, and then you also have the interesting like thing where it brings us Edge, which I think is a better version of Redemption Island. I think Redemption Island, I think I would enjoy if it was in an org more than I would enjoy it being on
Yeah,
TV because I get we made the points about it on past seasons where it's like it's a little tricky to navigate that as well as like the cast and then things get a little muddied with like how you share the screen time.
yeah,
But I think Edge was a great twist, and then you have you have the captains, and it does bring back some favorites. I will say it does lean more one way than the other to who which captains they kind of favored this season.
hmm
But it did lead to some great moments. You give us icon people. You give us Victoria. You give us War Dog. You give us Ron. You have a lot of cool people within this game, and it gave us Survivor history with the winner with the least amount of days played,
yeah,
and controversial winner.
yeah,
I know. I mean, even when we did our winners ranking, I know I placed him a little higher than you.
yeah. He's at the bottom for me.
Yeah, I understand why he's on the bottom for people. I think there is a strong argument why he should not have won. But boy, did he help make that finale
Yeah,
so cool
yeah.
and
I
iconic.
he plays optimally when he re-enters the game. Like in every
Yes.
aspect, he does exactly what he needs to do to win the game of Survivor from his position of coming back into the game at Final Six. Um,
Mhm.
the thing though, this is the Rick Devens show. Rick Devens does something that 99% of Survivor players just are incapable of doing, and that is making tribal council electric and entertaining. Like every tribal that he goes to, starting from the War Dog one onwards, pretty much, or the Julia one onwards, he's just like constantly, like making people, calling people out, and like doing all this stuff, and creating infighting and playing idols and playing up to the jury. It is so much fun, like all the time. the Ron psych out where he plays the advantage menu that Ron gave him, and then it's just like, oh, you're trying to make me look dumb in front of my kids. Well, psych, and then he turns over and plays his actual idol. Like
It was
it's
cinema.
cinema. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So this is a season I did enjoy, especially like because I didn't watch all the episodes of for that like recap that CBS put out,
Mhm.
mostly because of like timing, stuff like that. But one of the ones I did watch was Rick Devon's episode for Edge of Extinction, and oh boy, did I remember like how fun this season was.
Mhm.
Also, a reason why it's a little high, it's a little sentimental. If it wasn't for this season, we would not have the Day After podcast.
That is true. This season was so good that it literally made me go, I can't miss another season. We got to get this going right now. Come on, Ryan, let's do it.
So, as you all know, I'm a bit sentimental. So there's another reason why it's a little higher on my list
Mhm.
for that reason.
Yeah, yeah, fair. I recently rewatched the season, and yeah, it was electric. I got to watch it with friends too, so it was fun seeing their reactions to Rick Devon for the first time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's good TV.
it is. And then he comes back for 50, and he has a worse placement, but he still makes his legacy better. Like he still improves upon it.
First placement asterisk because he did get voted out a little early, but he
Yeah,
did come back into the game. But also, it was an all-star season, so
yeah.
it was a lot harder for him to. We're just happy he made it as far as he did.
I thought he was going to be a pre-merge person going into the season. Like I was
Yeah,
willing to pick him. I think it was third on my team, but I was doing it kind of knowing like, well, there's a good chance he's going early, but I just have to make sure he's on my team.
yeah,
But
I
so,
understand
but
completely.
he got seventh. I mean, like he essentially was on the whole season, because of that.
That is very true.
Yeah. Okay, moving on next to number 15, we have Cook Islands. Cook
Cook
Islands.
Islands. I think
Controversial theme, but great season.
exactly, which is always the reason why it's hard to say that you're a huge fan of it because like how they divided the cast in the beginning.
Mhm.
It did lead to one of the most diverse casts we had, and this was
True.
back in the 2000s. But it gave us a lot of like legends and icons here. The gameplay, and it was a fun underdog story seeing, the core four make it all the way to the end. Now, granted, they did have the super idol back then to kind of help that because then like,
Mhm.
oh, you can't take out Yule because if you take out Yule, one of your own goes home and it might be you, but he used that to his advantage. You have a great
Mhm.
cast. You have Penner. Even some of the early boots stand out. You got Cowboy. You got Billy professing his love to Candace.
Candace. One of the
It,
bet. That's genuinely a top 10 moment in Survivor history.
it was. I could only imagine just being on the island
Yeah.
and just hearing this for the first time. I was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah. Yeah. The biggest misread by a Survivor player ever.
Uh, but it made Billy. It made Billy. Like I like
Yeah.
Billy's vibe. Um,
He's funny.
but
Yet again, if you're going to go out there on Survivor, like at least give us a memorable moment like that.
yeah. You have Seku coming up with a song on at the reunion.
Mhm.
I like Yul Kwan. It gave us Ozzy for the first time. It gave us Parvati, which
Yeah.
even if she wasn't the best this season, it was the one that gave us her. And we can't forget Penner and like
Yeah.
how that mutiny twist where Candace jumped and then he's like, "Yep, I'm just gonna do a quick jump too."
Yeah, this definitely
Uh,
was a season that birthed a lot of Survivor legends.
yeah,
Yeah, I think a lot of them come back and have some better performances. Like obviously, Parvati is kind of not shown too much on this season. It's really Micronesia where she kind of comes into her own as a player. Um,
agree.
because she kind of gets that like near the end game, suddenly Yule's just like, oh dang, Parvati's a dangerous player. We got to take out Parvati, because of her flirtatious eyes and all that kind of stuff in the hot tub. Um, but yeah, I think it's a pretty fun season.
Mhm.
Penner is also one of my favorites. I love seeing Penner on screen, and the mutiny
Yeah.
thing where he ends up mutinying with Candace. I think uh great. I mean, it makes uh the whole tribe division become now like very apparent, and
Mhm.
Penner also then ends up flipping back over, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah. Also, there were some fun like soundbite moments. I
Mhm,
recently I say recently, the season 49 finale, I ran into Nate. He was out of Bryson Wen.
mhm,
Well, it's hard to say that because they weren't there. It was Ozzy and Tiffany.
mhm.
But it was under the Bryson Wen umbrella. But I asked him about the octopus thing.
Uh,
Because that was another thing. It was like, oh, can you like that was like the I'd say Parvati's like iconic line in there. Are you gonna eat that whole thing? He actually told a fun story about the octopus where they didn't eat it all and they thought they could preserve it in the ocean.
uh,
And then they, like production had to intervene. It was like, y'all, you can't eat it that way now. You will get sick,
yeah.
very sick. So that's a little fun tidbit for y'all.
Yeah.
Um,
They're also
but yeah.
plan voodoo. Cowboy comes up with the idea of how to flush the super idol. And so therefore Cowboy has to be the one to get eliminated.
Which is sad because I really liked Cowboy.
Yeah.
Um, he was such a fun character and like he would crazy enough he was kind of like the outsider on his original tribe because he was like, yeah, I don't care about like stereotypes. I'll bring in the tribe idol just because I think it's good luck. And so like he did get some shit for that, but like at the same time he was still funny.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
point where he's doing the thing to help Headaches where and then leaves like a huge red like bruise on
Yeah.
bruise on the forehead. It's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. I like Cowboy. There are definitely some people on this cast who I genuinely could not tell you their name. That
That's
it
fair.
does. A lot of old school seasons obviously have that where they kind of just chose not to edit like four people or something, and they're just like, you guys are just gonna kind of randomly get taken out and not gonna really show anything about you. But that's to me that's like the biggest gripe against the season. But besides that, yeah, I think it's just pretty fun. Great, good cast of the main cast.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, moving on next. We got number 14. We have Survivor 46.
I wish it was higher. I really did. This is my favorite new era season, and this is the first of the top 10 we have here, is it not? At least for me.
Yeah, I don't think any other top tens have been coming in.
Have the list here, but it's more fun if I see it as we go along.
Yeah.
This was a fun season from beginning to end. I feel like editing was great here. We got Jelensky, one of my favorite first boots ever. My favorite first. I was in Vegas earlier this week. I know he lives out in Vegas. I'm like, please let me run into Jelensky. uh, but no, you get the whole Vanu tribe being like like a disaster tribe, but not like they pull it out. It gave us Q, gave us Tip, gave us such a fun cast as well. Kenzie was a great winner in my opinion. It gave us Charlie and his bromance with Ben and that like crazy rivalry with Maria. It gave us Tevin, who I wish he lasted longer because he knew he was an actor and I was so easy to root for him and he was really good when we got to see him do his stuff. Gave us Liz, who I've talked to Liz. She was, like she's really fun. And then she also kind of reminds because Aaron has a lot of allergies. So now when I think of Well, like now I feel a little bit worse for Liz on the island because I'm like, oh damn, yeah, because I know someone who has a laundry list of allergies too.
Yeah.
And then let us not forget Venus, the Regina George of the new era. Yeah, I just thoroughly love this season through and
Yeah.
through.
I agree. I think there's a lot of good moments, but we have to also talk about the negatives, especially the episodes 2 to 4. The Banu episodes. I think you can pretty much call them, where Banu gets an insane amount of content, and it's like repeated content about him basically crying about not knowing what he's doing, or just other people talking about how Banu doesn't know what he's doing. And a lot of that also comes from, this is the start, remember, of the 90-minute episodes. um
Yeah.
and episode 2 was a 2-hour episode, if I recall correctly, too. So they had a lot of extra time they were trying to fill into here. And it's hard to get some of those early episodes and like make new stuff sometimes, because sometimes it's just like, oh, we've already kind of talked about where everything stands. So they kind of just gave us a lot of repeated content for about 3 episodes straight, with Banu. So I do think that that's like an overall negative, and that's why I think a lot of people that we know in the online community are against the season, is they hated how the season started, and they held the season against it for most of the season afterwards. um, but I agree. I think there's definitely great moments later on. I think it's so hilarious that everyone with idols gets blindsided with them in their pockets.
It's insane. And not only that, the fact that, yeah, like obviously Jem was an isolated incident. But like apart from her, everyone else, it was back to back to back to back to back to back, to the point where it was like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, clearly it's not going to happen again, but then it does. And like
Yeah.
they even know, some of them even know that their name is being thrown out too, which is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, and they're just like,
Um,
no, it's I don't have the majority rights, and then bam, like watching the Hunter elimination is wild, because like you can tell that he's so nervous and he feels like he's in trouble, and then he just looks over at Kenzie and Tiffany, and they're like, "You're good," and somehow he just believes it.
and the dangers, and then that made his elimination all the more sad because
Yeah,
this is the same guy who, like, and I liked Hunter too. Like,
yeah,
granted, he didn't get a full go as a challenge beast. But like what he was able to do on the island, what he was able to build and everything, but also like, we got his backstory of how he made all these challenges at home himself. And
mhm,
like, not only did he do it for that, but like, he quit his job to be a teacher, and like his teacher, and, like his students loved doing those challenges and stuff. It was so cool. Like he was a very rootable guy.
mhm.
But like another great moment was he was chosen to do the challenge of matching the seasons in chronological order, but he didn't watch them in order. So like,
Yeah,
like him trying to piece things together, it was that, or the beginning portion with the Sweat and Savvy challenges, how they both failed. Jelensky breaking the hourglass, hoping to turn back time. And then also, Ben and Charlie not being able to find the real clue on how to unlock the box so they can, or unlock the thing so they can get their tools. Uh, there's just a lot of cool moments here. Yeah, it does have its downsides, but I just love it.
yeah. It's definitely the meme season of the new era.
I love my memes.
Yeah, we all know you do.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is by result the highest rated season of new era season of Survivor 2.
that is true. Yeah, I mean, this 47, 45 all ended up kind of being in the same area. There's Cook Islands that kind of is in there a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, but
Okay.
I love 46.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Let's move on next to number 13. We got a tie here between number 13 and 12, Blood versus Water and Philippines.
This was interesting. We both had it. So how tiebreakers worked for us, because it really affected this episode specifically.
Mhm.
If there was a tie, whoever placed it higher on their list, like if I rated something higher than what Joe rated it, that would break the tie. However, because there's two of us, and there is no like, and we were, like you see the numbers, or yeah, we
Mhm.
should. You're covering part of my numbers. How dare you?
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
it's good on my screen. Yeah,
yeah, but no, I was covering your numbers. My
yeah.
bad. But like, it just there was no way to tie break this without messing up or rearranging the rest of the list.
Yeah, yeah. I
So I think
mean, yeah. You voted Blood versus Water 11. I did 17. You did Philippines 17. I did 11. So it just ended up working out where we have them a little bit of mirrored in our rankings.
yeah. Which one do you want to cover first?
Let's start with the Blood versus Water.
Yeah. So this is well, one, I'm a Tyson fan, so
Mhm.
that already made it super high for me. But so it was a crazy like thing to do because this was their like third returnee season in a row. Well, not all, like an all-star cast, but like half the cast was, especially right off the cusp of fans versus favorites. So it was kind of a bold decision to do with it.
Mhm.
But boy, was it an entertaining season. It gave us some great moments.
Yeah.
It also was like something where it brought some people back, and then we was like, all right, this is why we enjoy them. Like even Rupert, who went home first here. He didn't like this is why Rupert is beloved. And this is why Rupert is a hero
Mhm.
because he just so his wife could play Survivor, he decided to take himself out of the game and try and battle on Redemption Island.
Mhm.
And it resulted in his elimination. And he was like, nope, zero regrets because I want her to play.
Mhm.
It gave us Jarvis again. It gave us Tyson in a very, very strong one, strong role. Um, Made Monica Culpepper more of a household name. Uh, Showed us why Tina was great because obviously when you become the first winner to become when you go from first winner to first boot,
Mhm.
it kind of tampers your reputation. Then she almost ends up winning the season. Um, and then even some of the family members, there's that emotional state too. And then this is where I feel it worked for Redemption Island a lot because
Yeah.
of that. Like the duels had more stakes to it. It wasn't just just like two random people where we don't have like as much of an attachment to yet.
Mhm.
But yeah, it gave us Sierra, it gave us Brad, it gave us Vetus. And he also brought Hayden over to from Big Brother over to here. So like
Mhm.
even like the side of like things that wasn't returnees still brought some really cool people over, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. I do think we have to point out so that yeah, I like the season a lot. Obviously, I ranked it number 17. I think almost everything in like top 20 is like, in my opinion, like a good season of Survivor. Um, but it does have the Colton moments where he shouldn't have been on the season. Feel bad for Caleb
Yeah.
because he obviously is attached to it, but like that probably should have gone to someone else, a different duo of some kind, because yeah, I mean, Colton just, obviously faked appendicitis. And then, they said, oh, actually, we had a phone call with him and he seems like he is a lot more mature and better now. And then, he plays Survivor for here for like 4 days. And then it's just like, okay, I'm out. Get me out of here.
Which was crazy too, because it's like, yeah, because yeah, it's one of the things. Granted, he doesn't last long, so it
Yeah.
doesn't hamper the season fully, but it does take a spot away from someone,
Yeah.
and that does, Medivacs, you can't really, like you can't really expect, and you can't really fault the player for that happening.
Mhm.
But when you quit, it's something where it
Yeah.
infuriates people because there's like hundreds of thousands of people maybe even millions of people if we talk like from when Survivor first started and not just the pool that exists now,
Mhm.
that would give anything to play Survivor
Yeah.
to, like, and for you to quit, it's just like
And for him to be a
disgraceful.
two-time player and quit both
Yeah.
times, I mean, it is it's tough.
Yeah. But it happened so early on that I don't
Mhm.
mind it as much.
Mhm.
It is definitely a strike against the season, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, still a fun season. Um, Tyson is a strong, dominant winner, which I appreciated.
Mhm.
I did like like it did have some fun moments throughout it. And the rock scene was
Yeah.
so iconic.
Yeah.
Where Sierra's like, you know what? I'm gonna switch up the game right here. Screw this. I'm not gonna be number 4 in this alliance. Boom. Let's go to rocks.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, so
and Tyson doesn't play his idol there, where he could have lost the game by not doing that.
yes, yes. And this is someone that should have some trauma about being eliminated early or be eliminated because of bullshit too.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like the one mistake Tyson really makes in this game is doing that. Um, because he had even talked about previously that if he had placed driver again, he wants to get a minor injury because his problem with some of those earlier seasons is he's looked at as the athletic guy who you kind of have to take out early merge. That's kind of like the threat. So him getting that arm injury very early on kind of
Mhm.
lowered that threat level. So he wasn't perceived the same way as he would have been had he been fully healthy and competing in all the challenges and doing good and all that kind of stuff. So um, that's a little advice for maybe say a Jonathan Young who wants to play Survivor again also. Uh-huh.
No. We'll see with Jonathan. Like, I will say he has the advantage of like even if he's good at challenges, some people will be like, well, can he win over the jury and stuff like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I still think, I mean, he made it to the finale 2 seasons in a row and came in second place the second time around. I think,
Yeah.
nah,
I mean, he recognized, I
he's going to
will
be
say,
targeted way earlier.
I mean, he does know. I think he has an issue of getting women to vote for him over other women. I do think that's going to always be an issue for Jonathan because of just how he presents himself. And
Yeah.
like, I don't think that that's really ever going to change for him. So, and he knew in season 50, he needed to sit next to Rizzo and Joe. That was his winning option because then like he is likely to get some of those votes over to him. But yeah,
Because she was the only one that went to Etsy to get one of the Samotion machines. She
yeah,
ended up winning.
yeah, exactly. She
Which,
got she got a lot of those other people who were not down to vote for someone like Jonathan.
yeah, yeah.
But
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, no, Blood versus Water, I think it's a great season. I think it's definitely enjoyable and yeah, best version of Redemption Island we've ever seen.
Agreed. All right. And then Philippines, Survivor Philippines.
Yep,
I
yep.
think this was the first season that got us out of the dark era. Um but they did it great. It showed us the Matt Singh like pagonging or not pagonging, Matt Singh decimation. And then it gave us Denise and Malcolm, who both of
Mhm.
which I think are great players in their own right. And I think Denise, also being the first person ever to win, who went to every single tribal council possible,
Yeah,
is insane on its own.
true.
Um, it gave us Abby Maria. It gave us, her and RC like back and forth as well. It gave us another go at Penner, and I would say like this is probably my favorite season I saw Penner
Yeah.
in the sense of like not just like not just like ranking or anything, but like just like him specifically. He had a target, but he was still able to navigate the tribe and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And his kind of like rivalry with Jeff Kent, I think was
Yeah.
pretty fun. Where Jeff wants him out, but then once Penner has the idol and shows it to Kent. He's just like, oh, well, I guess if I have to get further in this game being with you, I guess that's just how it's gonna go. But yeah, no, I think it's a great season. I think yeah, Malcolm is great. That's episode where Russell goes home is, I mean, it's sad, and that's why it's such a good episode, because
Yeah.
it's so heartbreaking to see them just get completely decimated every single time here. Russell Swan really has a rough go of it in his two goes. Like Genevieve has now taken the place for like unluckiest player in Survivor for season 50, but Russell Swan is like right in there too. Because he had
They're on the Mount
to,
Rushmore.
yeah, he also definitely is up there. So and then yeah, I think Zane is a hilarious first boot where he just
Another iconic first boot.
yeah, I think he's great. It's unfortunate that we have to have Scoopin on our screen as much as possible. But hey, just like falling into the fire, you also get the cathartic moment where Abi-Maria hits a coconut into his head. So
That is true. Also, the goggles breaking on his face.
yeah, he gets injured a bunch. So you can't also laugh at him getting injured.
Thankfully, you have some other rootable people this season as well. So it also helps there. This also is the first time we ever had an entire tribe make it to the merge without
Mm,
going to tribal council.
yeah.
It's a first in the show's history. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, there's also Lisa as well, who,
Mm,
like, like, I think it's something where she has a pretty decent arc of like, yeah, I was a child star, or like I was a child star, I made a lot of money, and then that all went away, and it kind of like humbled her, and
mm,
then her kind of like reclaiming her fame
yeah.
again was a good story that came through. I feel like I would say that final four was tricky because it was very much if Malcolm makes it to the end, he wins. If Denise makes it to the end, she wins.
Mm,
And like that move had to be made way earlier for them to have a shot. But like you know, I feel like she was another good contender that made it to the end.
yeah. Yeah. I think Lisa, had she not had the baggage of being it, having made money as a child star and all that stuff, I think she would have gotten more votes to win in the end. I actually do think she played a pretty good game. Um, Obviously, Denise's story is better in terms of going to all those tribal councils. But if you actually looked at like the gameplay of like who made a lot of the decisions, especially in the mid to end game kind of stuff, a lot of it did come down to Lisa. Um,
That is
and
true.
a different jury, I think, could have very much given the votes over to Lisa of those final three.
I think that is fair to say too.
Mhm.
But I think one of my favorite parts, other than like it comes down to two people, but also Abi-Maria, who she lives out in LA, so I've met her a bunch of times and we've talked.
Mhm.
Uh, she was just so dang entertaining on this season. She
Yeah.
was a great villain, villain as well. She was even trying to be. She even had some like moves. I don't know how well they were executed, like trying to read the two-part advantage and
Yeah.
then being like obvious that it was two parts.
Mhm.
And it didn't quite fall in her favor. But like she was entertaining to watch, see what she did again. One of the biggest omissions from season 50. But
Agreed.
yeah, she was. I think yeah, she's my favorite character from the Philippines. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm hoping that if they're saving heroes versus villains too, that Abi-Maria, that's why she was on 50, is that they're saving her for that.
I hope so. I really hope so because
Yeah,
you completely ignored the 20s.
yeah, exactly. It's okay. Legacy of Survivor 20, the season 20s, those didn't matter. Just ignore those.
Oh, Joe.
We got South Pacific with the coach in Aussie. That's all you got to know about the 20s.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
uh,
All right.
okay, moving on next to number 11. We have Millennials versus Gen X.
Which I know Joe hates me for this one.
Yeah, this is a war crime. You should be flogged in the city streets for what you did in this ranking.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so
It's
explain yourself. Defend yourself, because I mean you're wrong. Like, defend yourself.
I really enjoyed it just happened to fall there, in my opinion. Um, I think it was a fun cast. There were some great moments throughout it. I think the things that kind of made me maybe there were a few people I was rooting for more than Adam, even though I get compared to Adam a lot. Um, don't get me wrong, I feel like Adam is a great winner. I think he is someone where he is the super fan. I think like his story and about like he really wanted to go on Blood versus Water with his mother and stuff, and then like that story element with him in that kind of like fueled him throughout. Uh, I think Fig Tales is a lot of fun, even though it's like, oh God. And I think I will say the theme of millennials versus Gen X does kind of, what's the right word? I think pun intended, it doesn't age well.
Yeah. I I
Uh,
I disagree. I think after rewatching, because I did rewatch this recently, it made me go, this is why themes are so important to
I
this
agree.
era Survivor, because it gave
I,
so many players like something to talk about and something to like latch on to them as a character, that immediately we're able to like understand who people are purely from the theme. Like, even when it comes to someone like Zeke, who is like, I don't fit the mold at all of a millennial. Well, guess what? That's great, because now you have someone that is literally saying, I'm in this, but I am the opposite of what you expect this to be.
bro, it's still in my top 20.
It should
So
be
it's
in, it
not
should
like
be in everyone's top 10.
it's still in my top 20. So I do
Oh.
enjoy the season quite a bit. Um, I, I know
Remember,
just slightly
this,
doesn't.
this is this is what made me think Survivor is an amazing show. And you put it at number 20.
20 is a good placement. Calm yourself.
20, if I go to my ranking of 20, that would I don't think that would have gotten me hooked on the Survivor.
Anywho, it's a fun season. You have a lot of good characters. You have Michaela, who it is a shame she goes home right before the merge because she is gold. I
Yeah.
love how she's like, "Bye, Felicia," each time votes someone
Her
out.
elimination, iconic Survivor
It
moments.
was. It
Yeah,
was.
where,
I'm
where
glad they
J-
brought her
Jeff
back for
literally
Game
stops
Changers.
where Jeff literally stops like reading the votes because of what's going on with her questioning Jay on it. It's great. Um,
Yeah.
David Wright is amazing on the season, where he starts off he's scared of everything. He's scared of his shadow. And then suddenly he becomes this power player come the merge, where he's like he wins the game. Had Ken been loyal to him at Final Four and put him against Adam and Fire, like
Yeah.
that would have been a game winning move, because David was so good at fire. Like, that was one of the things that he was just really good at from like the start. Um, so yeah, I mean, the season has Zeke, it's got Brett. I think Brett is also super interesting on the season as well.
Brett and Zeke has a really nice moment. And I
Yeah.
will say, like, I know I was saying like, oh, the theme doesn't age well. I
Mhm.
will say it is interesting watching, two people dealing with like similar, like, like
Mhm.
both of them being, gay and both of
Yeah.
them, like how they've handled thing and how Brett was like, yeah, we just didn't talk about it as much back then, or we
Mhm.
still don't, because like sometimes that stuff kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
as well. It was like something where it was a great moment on there. I do think another cool thing that happened was Will being the first high schooler on
Yeah.
Survivor, which I'm like, I feel like there are some people out there will be like, oh damn, that would have been so cool if I was.
Yeah.
Um,
He definitely
but
went
yeah,
out to Survivor too early. I mean, I think the more, and maybe it's because we get older, we see it. But if you go out there on Survivor too young, I mean, you're just not ready. You just don't have the life experience. You're not going to be respected as much. Like people are going to probably walk a little over all over you and kind of do what they want, and not value you as much. I feel like that happens
it,
quite a bit.
it is something where there's a reason why most winners aren't in their early 20s.
Yeah.
Um, I think there is a thing too where it's like, oh, you're also a little young.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, like hell, even now, when I look at like orgs and stuff,
Mhm.
how I played when I first started, how versus how I would play now
Yeah.
is very different. And we're talking
Mhm.
like I've only been 30 for a couple of months. Oh, well, a little more than a couple, but like, it's like that time and reflection and like, even Jeff is like the reason why he doesn't like casting so many people that are still in college and stuff, especially these days, because they need a little bit more life behind them in order to like
Mhm.
even Rizzo, who still slightly falls into that category, still is one of those people like he's still like 24, 25 when we first
Yeah.
see him.
Yeah, he was 25, but he comes off like he's 20, 21 years old.
I understand.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's kindred spirit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah, it would be interesting if they did millennials versus Gen Z. But
Mhm.
then again, it's like, and I think that's the thing too. It's like because of how millennials were kind of like portrayed during the time, it kind of is a different scope. Now millennials are like, oh yeah, we were promised a lot of good stuff. Now it's not.
Mhm.
Uh, and Gen Z is more like, yeah, the world is doomed, but let's do TikToks.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least
Well,
that's my view on the situation.
yeah, yeah. But anyways, this great season. Are you going to apologize at all?
No, because if I apologize for my opinions, granted, there are some where there maybe in my winner ranking where I'm like, yeah, I made a mistake here. But it's in the top 20, and I wasn't going to put it any lower than that. I mean, any lower, it deserves to be at the very least in the top 20.
Yeah, it's sort of at the very least be in the top 10, but
I'm not going to say I'm sorry for this one. Suck it.
Okay, let's go into number 10 where this should at least be in there, but we're going to number 10 now. Okay, here we go. We got Panama.
Panama, it gave us so many iconic people. It gave us Sari. It gave us a little bit of the Broken Idol, but you also had Terry Dietz. You also had Shane. You also had Courtney. You gave us Bruce. There were so many things to enjoy about this season. Um, a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, I think this is a good starter season for anyone
I'll
because you
tell
do
you
get some
this,
iconic peeps.
not as good as the cast as Millennials versus Gen X.
Okay, calm thyself. But no, I mean, it's something where this is like an old season where, granted, not pre All Stars, but still like an old era season where uh I think the tribe divisions and stuff in the beginning, granted, they don't stick to it long, was an interesting choice. And then I think how they all kind of like meshed together uh worked very well. It gave us a lot of fun dynamics. And then it also gave us Terry Dietz, who is probably one of my favorite like from this era contestants as
Mhm.
well. Yeah, so for me this is in the top 10 for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean it's good obviously like I think better castmates do make it to the end.
Yeah.
But I will say like a lot of the other tribe that's besides Terry Dietz, like a lot of them are a little more forgettable for me. Like it is definitely kind of like let's just kind of look at the Psy Alliance because they are the entertainment of the season, and then the other tribe kind of is just kind of there.
I mean, a little bit, but I think it's like you really enjoy but the thing is I feel like the good outweighs the bad or like the forgettable
Mm-hmm.
here.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying
Um
is that this, like,
yeah.
for a top 10 season, like, I don't think you should have like a tribe that's like a little more just on the forgettable side.
I think Joe is still talking about millennials versus
Mhm.
Gen X. I'll tell you what, Joe. If you can name me off the top of your head without looking it up, I'm gonna need you to cover your eyes.
Okay.
Every single person that was on Millennials versus Gen X,
Hmm.
I will deeply reconsider it. Let me pull up the cast right now, and
Okay.
time for you to gather. Cover your
Okay.
eyes.
I have my eyes closed. I don't have to do this in exact vote out order, right?
You have to give me a second to confirm
Okay.
that that person was on there.
Okay.
All right, give me one more sec. I'm pulling up the cast right now. Uh, ads. Hold on. Sorry, Wikipedia is being stupid. Stop. Survivor Wiki was being lame. All right, let's go.
Okay. So we got Rachel.
Hold on, sorry.
Okay.
Rachel is correct.
Okay.
I actually met her.
We got Murray.
Correct. You have to cover your
I
eyes.
have my eyes completely covered. They're good.
Put your palms of
Oh
your
my
hands
God.
over palms, as in over each socket.
I'm covering it. It's fine.
Look at me like this.
I can't. I'm not looking. I can't see.
Open your eyes just so you can look at me
Okay.
like this.
Okay.
All right.
You're so
You
dumb.
got Rachel, you got Mari.
Yeah. You got Paul.
Correct.
You got Cece.
Correct.
You got Michaela.
Correct.
You got let's go. I'm trying to go in. I know I missed someone in pre-merge that's in between CC and Michaela. Um, I'll just keep going. Okay, so let's just go for all the easy ones. Let's go Taylor.
Yeah.
Let's go Figgy.
Yeah.
Let's go Zeke.
Yeah.
Let's go Chris.
Yeah.
Let's go Will.
Yeah.
Let's go Sunday.
Yeah.
Let's go Brett.
Yeah.
Let's go Jay.
Yeah.
Let's go David.
Yes.
Let's go Hannah.
Yep.
Ken.
Yep.
Adam.
Yep.
Okay, I'm missing how many?
Hold on. I I will say you've missed. Hold on. You're missing three people.
Um, okay, I know the merge boot. Her name starts with an M. Um,
You have to say it.
yeah, it's like a Michaela kind of situation too, I thought.
You
Um,
have to say the name.
um, let's see.
I'm gonna say because we have another recording we have to do in
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Uh,
I'm gonna give you like 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. I mean, to be fair, this is way more people than I could name in Panama that I've already named. Um, Let's go. Is her name Mackenzie?
No.
um. Uh. Let's go. Who else am I missing here? We got Chris. Um. We got Zeke. We got um. So like an Angela.
No.
um.
Do you want to
Let's.
forfeit?
Yeah. I feel like I can't get anything else. Who did I miss?
Lucy,
Lucy,
Michelle,
Michelle. Oh my
and
gosh, that's
Jessica.
yeah, and oh, I actually got Jessica.
Shame on you,
Yeah,
misogynist. You forgot three
yeah.
women on.
To be fair,
All right.
Lucy very forgettable on the season. And then I knew what Michelle's looked like. I just literally was like, gosh, I keep wanting to say Michaela again. Um, but yet again, I could maybe name half of this cast off the top of my head.
All right. Why is this high rated for you then? Because
Oh,
I
it's
said my reasons.
I mean, like I said, I think the better people make it to the end. So it's 13, like, top 10 to me is like, oh my gosh, this season, like, fucking slaps on all cylinders. That this season has a really great final group of people, which if that's your Jimmy Jam, like that's great.
I think it is my Jimmy Jam. And
Yeah,
then also, I just really like some of the people that make it to the end.
yeah. Fair enough,
Sorry.
fair enough. But cast of Millennium versus Gen X, a little better.
All right. Do you want to move on?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
good.
Let's go on to number 9. We
No, I
got
meant from Millennials versus
oh
Gen
okay
X. But
okay
like,
okay. I
no, no, no. We
no,
can
no
go on to the
I'm
next
gonna keep
one.
talking about Millennials versus Gen X
I, I want
100%.
to. You're such a baby.
uh, okay. Do we have anything
All
else
right.
you want to talk about this season?
No, we will go forward.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Moving on next, number 9, we have David versus Goliath yet again. How dare you? How dare you? Not even in the top 10. This by the way should be in everyone's top 5 seasons of all time.
Top five is a bit much. Calm
No,
down.
no,
I
no.
think this is a very iconic season. This is a lot of
It sure
fun.
is.
Uh, my God, you're so aggressive. Jesus.
Because you're
It still
wrong.
made it. I am not wrong.
The fact that you don't even have this in your top 10, I mean, like what a fool. What a fool you are.
You're a jerk. I'd rather be stupid than a dick.
Well, I'm just calling them like I see them. And
All right.
I
So
see a big
how
old
about
fool.
instead of you being a crybaby, we talk about the great things about this season?
And why it should be higher than what you ranked it at 12.
It made it to number 9 when we averaged it out, now didn't it?
It should be higher.
You're such a sore loser. This isn't even like a competition either.
No, it's not about competition. It's just silly that you would even have this at number 12.
So this is a great cast.
Yep.
And I think it's an interesting theme because it is something that we've talked about, underdogs versus like people that are in charge. And so they went with that and they rolled with it. This is the season that gave us Christian Hibiki, which we both love and enjoy. Um, and then, it gave us his alliance with Nick. He always finds his guy, Christian.
Mhm.
Um, it gave us Natalie and the iconic jacket moment as well. I feel like this season had a great balance between advantages and gameplay, where it's like it wasn't too much, but there was ample opportunity to get something, which
Mhm.
I did like.
Yeah. Angelina, iconic player,
Mhm.
great character. Mike White's great confessionalist, just hilarious. Him getting drunk, especially in some of that end game, amazing. The brochachos, Lupin and
Mhm.
Christian. I mean, that's iconic right there. It's great. Just all around, like I'd say 80-90% of the tribal councils, I think were really fun and exciting. Good gameplay, to see the underdogs of the Davids kind of having to utilize all the tools and their resources together to get one over on the Goliaths, is super fun to watch. Yeah, it is, it's just filled with iconic moments, just like left, right, and center.
Yeah, it's a really solid season. I'd say the things that kind of bring it down for me, there is a quit and there is a medevac. Um, and this one, like it is sad seeing Pat go out like that because he did seem like someone that could do well in the season. And they gave him a lot of stuff, and it was a bit of a gut punch seeing him go, not gonna lie.
Mhm.
Just because
Yeah.
like how it was edited and how like because they just kind of started from like cut to black and right into everything.
Uh,
Uh and then the quit just kind of seemed a little out of like I understand like when you're an athlete, your body is like your temple, your main thing. So I get why she pulled herself from the game, but it still kind of sucked.
yeah. I mean, yet again, she just never really got any screen time, so I didn't really care. I was just like, oh, okay, we'll just kind of move on.
I think that is fair.
So,
Um,
but yeah, I mean, first boot medevac of Pat, especially considering that Pat was in a good spot and probably would have sent Nick Wilson home, who ends up winning the season.
yeah.
That's likely what would have happened. I think, such an interesting kind of what if scenario for this entire
Mhm.
season. Had Pat not, they didn't get transported in rough weather and he, takes a bad hit, a bad bump.
Yeah. Um, well, I think another other great things about this season. Davey.
Davy's
Davey was a
great.
huge nerd. Davey was a little bit of a I understand why they didn't bring him back because you already had like I could see him replace Mike White a little bit, but at the same time, you have someone doing the White Lotus and he's down to do it. You bring
Yeah.
in Mike White.
Yeah.
Angelina was much. Christian was a lock. So I understand they didn't want to bring four people from
Mm-hmm.
David versus Goliath. It's a little different for like a returnee season, like Heroes versus Villains. Obviously, we got a bunch of people from that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Davey was one where I would have been very hyped to bring if they brought him back. I met him; he's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Gabby is also great. I think she was awesome. Her kind of relationship with Christian. Most of the fan community thought that they had a nerd romance, but when Christian actually already was in a relationship. So
had a girlfriend,
yeah, I
and
remember I
everything.
remember watching stuff online and people being like, "Oh my gosh, look at Gabby, she's so shocked." And it's like she probably knew, but like the fans online didn't know, so they would see that and they would just be like, "Oh my gosh."
Mm.
um yeah, it's great. And yeah, uh the I don't know fire also moments that Carl ends up doing is awesome, and then it makes him feel like he's this all-powerful godfather of the game, and he gets drunk in the hammock at that one point. Like I think a lot of people get their time to shine in the season, and yeah, I think yet again another top tier cast right here absolutely deserves to be in everyone's top five.
Top 10.
You don't even have it into the top 10.
Each Joe, stop being a whiny baby.
Well, I'm just saying, you're clearly wrong.
It's a great season. Calm down.
Yeah, but I'm going to call you out when you do
I'm gonna call
stupid
you
stuff.
out for being a sore loser.
Okay, but I'm just saying this. It's not even
I make a
loser.
difference of like 8 or something. and other ones, a difference of 10, you're fine. But
Yeah,
when it's
because there's a
specifically
lot of
something that
there
hinders a season you like, you're like,
there's
how dare you?
well, this is like just and everyone's list. It's a top 5 season,
You
so
scruffy looking nerf herder and all that. Maybe I
it's purely
wanted to
wrong.
differentiate my list. Did you ever think of that, Joe?
Well, I'm sorry that you chose the wrong opinion.
I'm sorry, you're a meanie butt.
Wow, that's real original.
I could say worse things about you, Joe King. However, we have more to film after this, and I'm not bringing this negativity over to Jake's channel.
Yeah, we start
It's
talking about
funny
total
he's
drama.
gonna watch this.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about total drama after this, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I like Owen, and you're gonna be like, oh, Owen sucks. Actually, he's
He farts all the time.
yeah, he's toilet humor. That's all he is.
No, but we're save it until then.
Yeah.
All right. But
Okay.
yes, David versus Goliath is a very great season.
Exactly. But apparently someone says number 12 instead. Okay. Moving on next to number 8, we have Tocantins.
All right. Are you pissed off that I have it 2 places higher?
No, we have it's both in our top 10.
All right. Okay. So
go ahead.
This is
are you afraid of saying anything dumb?
No, I'm not afraid of saying something dumb because I say dumb things all the time. And it's part of my charm. So this season was super great. So this is the first season I started watching where I really got into Survivor. You have it is a small cast, which is kind of crazy because it's the last time we see a 16-person cast.
Yeah.
However, quality throughout. You get so many like great players here. You have like to start off with, you get Taj, you get Coach, you get Sierra, you have Tyson, you got more JT, who plays the first ever perfect game. You got Fishback, you got so many iconic like you even had like cross tribe alliances that they were trying to do over on Exile. It didn't quite pan out, but like at the same time, even if it didn't go anywhere, it was still cool to watch. You had, I think, overall a very, very solid cast. Yeah, just no notes really.
Yeah, I think this is like just what I would consider like just a really solid season throughout.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't have like like I think the best moment really is the Coach martyr kind of situation. Like to me, that is like the number one top peak moment of it. Besides that, I think it's just like very strong and solid throughout. Which I obviously gets it into me in my top 10. But it couldn't crack some of those ones that I have above it where I do think it swings higher more frequently.
I think that's fair, especially when we're getting in to this late in the list.
Yeah.
I'd say even like in the 20s, some things will be favored a little bit more than others. Also, I really like Coach. I really like Tyson. So these things, oh shit, I need to plug in my PC.
Yeah, don't go dying. This is already going to be longer than the last one.
I know. Oh shit. But
okay, you coming back? So Ryan's going on a journey right now. There he is. He has found his charger. He is here.
Yes, it was over on my bed. Anywho, yeah. And I think this is also one of the best seasons to start someone off on when it comes to Survivor, because it's pretty straightforward in what it wants to do. And then you got a lot of fun characters that do come back as well. So yeah. And then I will say there's something about from a simpler time, JT being the winner, that just feels good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a very dominant game. It genuinely feels like everyone's handing JT this game. Like it's like everyone says, we don't want to win.
Yeah,
We want JT to win this game. Um Steven
very much.
is one of my top players up to this point in Survivor. Definitely a fun player, good, like a good player. He just he can't compete with the charm of JT on the season. Like it just was impossible. Like if he tried to cut JT down, like the jury cut Steven down instead. Like they were willing to defend everything JT did. So it was pretty much an impossible spot for him at the end. Which is crazy because I do consider him one of the best finalists, even though he gets 0 votes.
Yeah, it's just hard. And then like by the time that Steven is like, yeah, maybe I should make a move on JT. JT has a pretty solid win streak as well. And then
Yeah,
it's like, well, there's not really much you can do against that,
yeah, exactly.
you know?
Um, yeah, it's a good season. I wish Taj also returned. I thought she was a lot of fun on the season as well. Um, Kind of get why
Yeah.
though, because obviously she's married to someone who was in the NBA and all that kind of stuff, and it's like she doesn't need to be going out there a bunch to play Survivor.
Well, I mean, especially at the time, like one of the
Yeah.
best things about Taj was like her motherly like charm and everything. And then she
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, I don't want to go back out because I don't want to miss, like I don't want to be away from my kids that long again." Now,
Mhm.
granted, this was what was it? It was about 17 years ago. So most of her kids are probably grown up. I don't know if she had more after
Mhm.
her time on Survivor.
Yeah.
So like I do think once she becomes a little bit of an empty nester, it's possible she might want to come back out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is straight up just a very popular season.
Mhm.
And I feel like, to this day, people very much enjoy Taj. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think she'd be good. It would be interesting to see Sierra come back just because, like, she had a
Mhm.
pretty good underdog story within her own tribe. Now, granted, the big underdogs were the Jiao Pao three.
Mhm.
But, like, Sierra had that whole moment against, like, Tyson was like the mean older brother. And then she got her comeuppance when he was vulnerable, which made for a good story
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, good season here. Pretty much are in agreement on it. Let's move on now to number 7.
All right.
Okay, we got Pearl Islands.
All right. Are you going to be a crybaby about this one?
No, 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 no. This is good.
All right. Gotta check.
I'm not being a
All right.
crybaby. I'm just stating the facts. So when you're dumb,
Uh, you did not choose what I liked, and you ruined my ranking.
it's not
That's
ruining my
true.
ranking. It's just how dare you look so dumb on our channel. That's what
You've
I care
never
about.
mined before, Joe.
Yeah, but I mean I've minded, but sometimes I'll let you play out your dumb. I got to call out this stupidity.
At least it's not as bad as the Frozen 2 incident.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that was like actual pure hatred, like that started coursing through my veins as you read out that list.
But yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
Pearl Islands, by far my favorite of the All Star era, of the pre All Star era.
Mhm.
One, it gives us Rupert, and then it gives us Johnny Fairplay. Those two alone, but it
Mhm.
also gave us, it gave us a tribe that was pretty much being decimated. But then because the one team got arrogant, it started to backfire on them. It did give us the controversial Outcast twist, which I did enjoy because I did like Burden and I did like damn, I'm forgetting Liz,
uh Lil.
Lil. Well, first go around, I did enjoy Lil. Second go
Mhm.
around, she kind of fell off for a little bit for me. But like I did like them coming back. There were two Ryans this season. Uh, that might have a fact that that's in top five.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and neither of them do very good though. To be fair,
even though Skinny Ryan kind of gets axed, Rhino gets eliminated at like eighth place, ninth place.
yeah,
Um, but we get introduced to Rupert. We get introduced to Sandra. Sandra, my favorite line of hers from this season, where she's like, "I can get loud too." Um, I think it was, like I think this is a solid season. I'd say like if I were to show anyone an old school season, this would be the one I would go for.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I agreed. This is my top old school era season. Uh, I've been trying to get some of my friends who are watching to like watch this one because they don't want to watch the old era because they know that it's like less gameplay driven and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you got to give this one a shot. Um, I'm not a huge fan of the Outcast twist. It's not like it's not something I'm a huge like, man, I wish that we kept seeing that over and over again. It's
my thing is, it was an afterthought, and some of them were already in hotel rooms.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was my thing about it.
yeah, yeah. It's I mean, if we got to see them on the island and like having to be similar to an edge of extinction, and you kind of like know that they're there, then it could have been better. But yeah, them just kind of getting brought in, just be like, okay, here they are.
As a last minute decision,
Yeah.
that's what got me.
Uh-huh.
Um, so, like, I mean, not knowing that, still watching it, still a great season. And then fair play with the him just like
Mhm.
being iconic for all the episodes.
Mhm.
Um, like there's him getting wasted at tribal council, and he comes in, and then Jeff very very flat is like, "You loaded?" He's like, "Hell yeah."
Yeah.
There's him getting screamed at by Rupert, and then him playing it off. The date he takes the ladies on when they go to reward. And then, of course, the one that put him on the map, the grandma lie at the loved ones challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, iconic moment, 100%. It's still um bare minimum top 3 survivor moment of all time. Um
Yeah.
it was great. I think obviously this season has like its few standouts that are like really awesome and standouts, but there is definitely a little period where you're kind of getting through some of that other tribe, the Andrew Savage tribe. I forgot what it's what it was called again, but there's definitely a lot of people on that side that do kind of get taken out. And you're kind of like, yeah, that's good, that's fine.
Yeah. And this also was the first season with a quit.
Mhm.
Uh, so, yeah, not the greatest, but then again,
Yeah,
so like the big twist or like the hook of the season was oh, they're not going to have any of their luggage.
yeah.
And then some people thought it was a great idea to get rid of all their clothes prior to filming,
Mhm.
not realizing, oh, things are going to be very, very hot.
Yeah.
Um, Not a smart decision. To
Yeah.
quote Q, big
Big
mistake.
mistake. Yeah. It did. I mean, them not having the luggage and then having to go into that village and like barter and like figure out how to get stuff and all that stuff. Like iconic. I wish that Survivor could do stuff like that again because that
Oh,
was a lot of fun.
they totally can. They
Yeah.
just choose not to. Who
Yeah.
knows? With the open era, they
Yeah.
might.
Yeah, what they should do is because I don't know how close they are to any Fiji towns, but they could create their own Fiji town with a bunch of locals that do not speak English, and then bam, let's go ahead and recreate it.
I mean, it's not far off. I mean, like I'm sure they could. I don't know. It's tough to say because I also understand that budgets and stuff play a factor into this.
Yeah,
I don't think it's too far fetched for them to go off into a nearby Fijian like thing, and then
yeah. I think
I know it's like
it's just about location. I don't know how
yeah,
far away it is to get to a Fijian town because
some tourists have accidentally gotten close to survivor sets before.
yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of people know kind of where you go for it, so you can kind of get like you can kind
Yeah,
of go over and look. Um, but like they, who knows how long they're actually traveling? Like they could be on a boat for a few hours to go find them.
history. There's a beautiful thing with the power of it. The granted, 26 days, all of that.
Yeah.
So a little trickier, but
Hmm.
I digress.
Yeah.
That would be a fun thing they bring back.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Okay. Ready for number six?
Yep.
Okay. Number six, we have Winners at War.
All right. Are you going to call me a tryhard or something for it being in my top five?
No.
All right. So this season was a lot of fun. It was something where it was so cool seeing like winners compete. So everyone's kind of like on even playing field to some degree. Obviously, most of them coming back are first time players or like for like return their first returnee season, I should say. So it was, I'd say the one big downside of this season was the decimation of old school players,
Yeah.
with Yule being kind of like the last one standing and then eliminated, and then Tyson coming back and chilling for a little bit before
Mhm.
getting eliminated again.
Yeah.
That was like a downside because I didn't mind fire tokens. Um, do I think I wanted to see it every season? Probably not. I get why it can be confusing. I
Yeah.
did like Edge, and I think we did get overall a pretty solid cast, and it gave us some pretty iconic moments. And let us not forget Tony Vlachos aura farming the entire season,
Yeah.
especially at the after the merge, doing the wildest, craziest shit and
Yeah.
still winning.
Yeah, obviously, Tony is like my favorite player. I love watching Tony. Um, but the thing is that this season is the Tony Vlaco show for like, especially once you hit that post merge. Like this is him kind of doing stuff. And honestly, like you end up seeing some of these winners almost like not playing the game and letting Tony kind of play around everyone, and they're just doing what Tony wants a lot of the time. Um, and it's very baffling to watch. Like when we did this last time and we ranked it, I had this as like my number four season, just like how you actually have it right there. Um, because I was just so in love with like Tony won, that's so cool. But when you honestly like kind of look back and just like look at a lot of the rounds, um the gameplay is not there for a lot of the players. It is definitely a little more like everyone's playing a little scared, which is not exactly what you want to see from an all winner season. But guess what, most winners get there because they play scared for a long time until the end game and then make their final moves. So a lot of people I think were looking to be doing that kind of stuff, but because it's not their winning season, it kind of makes them look a little worse.
Well, I think the thing too is like they know that certain things are stupid to do or not always the best. Like you don't want to be the first one to say a name.
Mhm.
It did lead to some interesting things because we were like, oh yeah, Sandra and Rob are going to be cooked the first time they go to tribal council. And this is what I was hinting at earlier. Sandra actually, I think there's a world where she makes it to merge potentially
Mhm.
because she was kind of dominating her original tribe. Um, she
Yeah,
was like the queen bee, and it took Denise taking the idol away because Sandra got
yeah,
big movitis,
yeah,
and her getting the Queen Slayer be or the Queen Slayer take like taking out the queen with her
yeah,
own idol in such a brutal way. I
yeah.
think if that doesn't happen, it's a very different it's a very different season.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, I think Sandra, she tried to play the game because she didn't really have to play as much in the first two seasons because she could be under the radar. And I just don't think that she's capable of doing those kind of moves. Like that's just not that was never in Sandra's wheelhouse, was making big moves. Um, and so she tries in this and just completely whiffs and probably makes the dumbest move of the season by doing that. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, and then obviously then she like quits the edge. She's like, I'm just not doing this, and she leaves. Yeah, again, a little sour taste, for that is your, two-time winner, the only two-time winner at that point. Um, would have been nice for her to stay and at least see who the next two-time winner would be or potentially vote for them.
I think it just sticks out a little bit more because she's the only one that does it. But she's
Yeah,
like, Sandra was not known for her challenge prowess.
yeah,
So I understand why in Sandra's head that was the right thing to do.
yeah,
But I think the way they structured it, because Edge of Distinction last time was not mandatory, it was a choice.
yeah,
Whereas this time around, it was mandatory to go there. You bequeath
yeah,
your fire token and then you go to Edge. So, like,
yeah,
if you were going to quit, it would have to be there.
yeah.
Or if you were choosing not to continue with the game, it would have to be there.
Yeah, she didn't even spend the night. She gets there and was like, "This ain't for me," and leaves.
Which I get it. You don't want to waste your time and like, if you want food, you want food.
uh,
Um, but I
yeah,
think
but
some of
also
the
what you're
high
saying, I think boot order is a very like you want to see the mixture of newer players and older players, and we kind of don't get that in the season.
we don't. I will say the players that kind of helped shine here, like I do like Adam a little bit more this season because you see him kind of like
Mhm.
fight for it a lot.
Yeah,
Um, I like Michelle because like, she has this moment with Boston Rob and it's crazy how much Co Wrong influences so many seasons afterwards because even
yeah,
in this season it holds weight because she's like, well, I'm someone where not many people think I deserve my win and stuff. And she's talking to Boston Rob. Like, oh, a win's a win. You
Mhm.
you still won that season. And then like her coming to Move, and I think like if anything, it wasn't for her just trying to win, $2 million, but her to kind of like prove that she is a great player,
Uh-huh.
um, as well. She was great to follow here. Tony, we did get to see some of my favorite winners did come back. We got Tyson, we got Kim Spradlin Wolf, we had Sarah Lucina, yeah, Tony. And then like Jeremy as well. I'm looking down
Mhm.
the list. Natalie
Yeah.
and we
Yeah,
Denise,
the star
obviously.
power. I'm not saying anything against the star power. It's some of the people just don't do as much on the season as what we would hope for. That we're used to seeing from them.
That is true. That is very
Mhm.
true. It sometimes it is tough because there is playing smart, which because like yeah, but
But like Tony, he is playing really hard and not like everyone else. Like he's out there actively making moves, making throwing out names, and he wins the season because he's the only one who's really making active like gameplay decisions, whereas everyone else is way more defensive and kind of wanting to just coast by. Because like I said, a lot of winners in Survivor get to final six by kind of just being passive, and then they make their one big move and then claim it at the end and say, look at me, I took out this top player at this move. And so I think a lot of players kind of were in that mentality because that's how a lot of people win Survivor. But not Tony. Tony said, "Screw it. I'm here. I gotta make moves. I gotta do what I gotta do."
and the fact that he still wins as a result, I
Yeah.
think is a testament to it. Because it's like we've talked about it before. There are some seasons where it's like, oh, tallest blade of grass gets cut.
Mhm.
Uh but it's like I think it's the how we see Tony do it all the time is
Yeah.
crazy. And yeah, I think probably one of my favorite moments slash episodes is where he's given that penalty. It was like, oh, he has to collect like 8 fire tokens, and he
Mhm.
doesn't have 8 tokens. If he doesn't, he can't compete in the challenge. But he does so. He gets enough for it. He gets the advantage, and then he's also not only does that, but he wins the challenge. Is even able to pay some people back for their donation of a fire token?
Yeah.
Like that was just like a masterclass of like how of a great episode for someone.
Yeah. I mean, that was the most Tony episode of all time. Like that was literally the entire episode was look at Tony outplaying every single person on this beach. Like in every aspect.
There was also other great Tony moments. The spy nest.
Mhm.
Um, there was also the ladder,
Yeah.
which was nuts. Didn't he try and fight a shark as well?
Yeah. He got a baby shark.
Yeah. And I think another thing too, it's a great way. He's someone where he was able to manage his threat level. Granted, he got humbled in Game Changers by
Mhm.
going out second, but he knew what he had to do. He had to stay on the beach. He had to be like be on his own probation and stuff. And then he knew when to strike.
Mhm.
Um and when to go full Tony.
Mhm.
Super Saiyan Tony.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I rank this at 10, not because of the Tony, all the Tony stuff. It is just more so everyone else. Like this is similar to a Samoa or a Edge of Extinction to me, where it's like there's this one person who kind of dominates the game strategically and gets a lot of the screen time, and then there's maybe a few other people who kind of do some good things. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, but it's definitely like this is Tony kind of just being Tony for the entire time and it working very well. So it's great. I love seeing Tony. That's why I ranked it higher than Edge and Samoa, but it's not in my top five because I wish that other people played bigger. I wish that the boot order was different. Like there's a lot of things I wish that were changed about the season to make it better.
I think that's fair to say.
Mhm. Okay, moving on. Top five here. We got number five at Micronesia.
Just such a fun season.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, neither one of us put it in our top five
Which I don't know how that the
because
math that way.
some of us have fours, our David versus Goliath, and you winners at war, and the other person ranked it lower. So this season kind of just went ahead.
Found its way up.
Yeah.
Um, Despite Fair Play and Yao Min going home earlier, way earlier than they should have,
Mhm.
this gave us well, first it was groundbreaking at a time where it's like, oh hey, let's get a cast of like returnees against people that know what they're doing.
Mhm.
And then it just worked out so like well, even if like some of the fans weren't as memorable or get a little overshadowed, a lot of what we saw, and let's face it, the Black Widow Brigade and what they were able to do
Mhm.
is where I think this show really, really shines. How,
Yeah.
some men feel like they're on top and everything, and then they get humbled as they're voted out. So
Mhm.
some of which with an idol in their pocket. There's some fun sound bites like it's a fucking stick.
Yep.
You get Suri in her best performance out here. This is what made us fall in love with Parvati. Um, yeah, and then I would say obviously Eric is like the number one fan. Like he makes it far, but like he's like the biggest fanboy.
Mhm.
It gives us some unrated gems like Natalie Bolton, which still a disservice to this day that they never brought her back.
Yeah, I thought
Like
she was going to be a lock for 50, to be honest, because she started like reappearing in like press and stuff. Like she did one of the shows on Dropout too with Parvati and Ethan and Suri. So like it felt like she was going to be coming back, but then just suddenly it was just like, actually no, I guess Natalie's not going to be on Survivor again.
Yeah. The fact that she was an alternate and not on season 20. I get it.
Mhm.
They had a lot of people from fans versus favorites. So
Yeah.
they probably wanted to cut back a little bit on it. Um, but yeah, I think it's a great season. I think it's fun to like watch all the way through. And it's just I think the iconic moment that the them convincing Eric to give up immunity and then he gets voted out and such a brutal twist and it
Yeah.
happens, or not even twist, it's such a brutal like elimination,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
it's like they pulled it off. And sometimes it's like even if you know how a story ends, sometimes it's the how they get there that
Mhm.
is entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this season was for me.
Yeah, exactly. And especially because like Eric genuinely could have won those last couple of immunity challenges to win the game. Like it
Mhm.
was definitely a possibility there. So I wish that Eric got more screen time the next time he came back, because I think he had a
So
story to
weird.
tell.
He did. And I
um
mean, he's still pretty active with the survivor community as well. He does Dabu Drawlings, which basically he makes memes of whatever the new episode is. And it's
mhm,
pretty funny.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, two of my favorites, Survivor players, Parvati and Amanda. I mean, this is them pretty much just dominating the game.
Yeah,
Getting to the end as well. Suri getting screwed because of all the medevacs. The medevacs didn't happen this season. Suri wins the game instead of Parvati.
that is very true. Well,
Yeah,
medevacs and then one quit,
yeah, yeah,
and then kind of like one, oh yeah, you can vote me out.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I feel with this one, yeah, there are some downsides, but the good wave outshines the bad here.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, moving on next to number 4, we have China. We got China.
Which I don't know how that's even high.
Yeah, I know, right? Now that's at number 4.
I think because tiebreaker. China's a
Yeah.
fantastic season. Another great starter season as well. Um, small cast, but small but mighty. It's
Mhm,
you have so many people that you can root for here. Um, I think a great cast of like different personalities as well.
mhm.
Uh, and then Todd, pretty strong winner. Still pretty active. Like he has his Funko Pops that he sells. I do have one. Joe, you need to get a Funko Pop from him.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah, I
one
mean,
day. Maybe one day.
yeah, but I think it's a very solid cast. Great location as well. Yeah, and then led to the first ever person voted out with two idols in their
Mhm.
pocket.
Yeah.
Insane to think about.
Yeah, the James vote out is pretty legendary. One of the dumbest moves. We went from the dumbest move in Micronesia to the dumbest move in China, which are often considered the two dumbest moves in Survivor history. Um,
I mean, there's going to be knowing how what we have in the top three. There's going to be some obvious dumb moves.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
If you're keeping track at home,
Yeah,
but yeah,
but yeah, this is the starts to Amanda, one of my favorite players as well, right here. We got Courtney, who I think also played a really good game. Kind of seemed like she's this out of place from the whole, she doesn't want to pray in the temple and all that stuff, and she's a city girl. Um, can't really do super well in a lot of those challenges, but she ends up
but famously the one where she just has to sit on her ass.
that's the one that she's great at.
Yeah,
Yeah. um, but yeah, ends up getting to the end with, I think, honestly some win equity. That the thing is, like, this final three going into it all had win equity where they could have done something depending on who was better at Final Tribal, and Todd was just by far the best Final Tribal Council performer out of those three. He probably, like, a lot of people consider the best Final Tribal Council performance of all time. Um, only person that I think rivals him is Chris Doherty from Vanuatu. Those are kind of like the top two for me.
Yeah. Some other people on here that also shined. Denise was like one of the ones where she made it to the end. She was probably going to win just based off of, well, I mean, like she did have a great social game as well.
Mhm.
Um, and then like, her being, a mom and then also a lunch lady, that garners a lot of sympathy, but also she played a solid game. We also had Chicken with his iconic damn
Damn.
vote out. You have John Robert being thinking he's hot stuff, but he gets his comeuppance. He was like, even in backpedaling, being like, "Oh yeah, I was going to be a lot more charismatic near the end, so it showed like I had growth in the tribe."
Yeah.
Um, some a pretty interesting twist that led to one of the most blatant throwing of challenges in Survivor history.
Yeah.
I mean, that tribe swap was just brutal.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever are playing a game and there's that kind of tribe swap and you're not and you get two people who are these big strong guys from the other tribe, yeah, you should probably think about throwing an immunity challenge and voting one of them out because they are now just sitting ducks, especially in this era of the game when there weren't a bunch of advantages flying around. There's
Oh,
just kind of
absolutely.
there's just the idols, and even then, most people are not playing around idols. They're like, if people have idols, they have idols, but let's play just going without that and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Um, yeah, just overall fun, solid season, great location. This is one of the seasons that make me miss
Mhm.
location based seasons.
It benefits it a lot. Like I would honestly say it gives like a 10% percentage increase to the season purely because of its located in China.
Very fair statement.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on next to our top three, we got Cagayan, which is ranked number two on both of our lists because there's a spoiler, there's a tie for the top two spots.
Yes, Cagayan, one of the best seasons of Survivor. It's all around solid cast. Like everyone fits their archetype for better or for worse. And then sometimes it's funny, like the irony of the Brain Tribe, one going on a losing streak, and two, keeping Jatia, who was clearly bad for their team,
Mhm.
even after she, threw a tantrum at the campground, pouring out food when they're starving was insane.
Mhm.
But you got so many people you can root for here. You got Tony, uh you got Spencer, which I think like a lot of people that fit into our archetype kind of relate to. Um you get you get quite a few people here that also like stand out as well. Um yeah, I think it's just fun to watch from beginning to end.
Mhm. Yeah, it's I mean it's iconic. Like what else can you say? No one thinks Tony's going to win this game while watching it because of how chaotic and all over the place he is. Um and somehow he's able to convince Wu at final 3 to take him to the end instead of Cass who he absolutely beats in the end.
Oh,
Um
100%. Like,
yeah.
and this is all in a post Russell Hantz world too.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was kind of like the mindset of Wu is just like, oh, people are not gonna like Tony. And he did. Tony in this tribal council had like some hate coming at him from people on the
Yeah.
jury. Unlike Winners at War. Winners at War, people were hooting and hollering for everything Tony was saying. This season they were not as super Tony. It took like Spencer basically saying like, hey guys, remember, let's vote on who played the best game. Wu was Tony's little puppy dog this entire game, and Tony was the one, holding the leash.
Yeah. And it is a little sad. I liked Wu, and then this is another decision that shaped Survivor. Like it had huge ramifications in later seasons.
Mhm.
Chaos Cass, she is one of the people that surprised me most because uh when I first saw like the cast breakdowns of everyone, I wasn't too impressed. But then she was like, okay, she earned Chaos Cast, flipping the switch. And then even afterwards, when they're asking, so are you with them now? She's like, I don't know, maybe. You get Tosh
Mhm.
also being a bit of a challenge beast, making a name for herself. Um, you get, like there's a lot of cool. I will say the beauty tribe does kind of fall to the side a little bit, which
Yeah.
is a little unfortunate.
Yeah, I think
Um,
LJ, I think he gets some decent screen time. Like if there was a winner potential from that tribe, it is LJ.
he gets a lot of the screen time, even
Mhm.
though I think was it Jeffro was the last beauty standing.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like it was interesting. Cliff was cool, and I liked the bromance he had with Wu. You had, and then the premiere episode where it's
Mhm.
just like the brain tribe just losing and losing, and one of them even going home with an idol in their pocket is
Yeah.
insane to think about. You also gave us Sarah Lucina for the first time.
Mhm.
Sniped a little early, but it happens.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
Bryce, who is one half of uh, a huge part of like the Survivor community right now because of the Bryson wins and what him and Wendell have been able to do.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. I think the season has a little bit of something for everyone. Um, great moves, great characters, a lot of fun dynamic moves that work and some that don't work. And yeah, I think overall top tier season right here.
Oh, absolutely. All
Okay.
right.
Now,
Well,
yeah, we got the last two. I'll let you know. I did separate them into two different slides because they each deserve kind of like their own slide since it's literally our
Charles, yeah.
winners. Yeah, yeah. So, showing off our first season that is tied here for first, we have second chances.
And of course, Joe puts the one that I chose as number one on the bottom because he's a petty little chaos gremlin.
Listen. This should honestly be number two. It's second chances. It fits the name, so
I think it's a fun season.
yeah.
You get one, it's the first time. It's the first time the hands are like in the fans, truly, where they get to vote on who gets to be on the season. And you get a good mix, especially at the time of like old school contestants and new school contestants, spanning from all eras of Survivor.
Mhm.
And then it already kind of starts off in a high note with that, and then as it keeps going, it's not without its like faults, obviously, but you get to see a lot of your favorites return. Some of them getting higher placements, some of them, like getting brutally eliminated early on. But I feel like this was the start of like advantage and stuff starting to like an evolution of the game. Even if like the contestants themselves were trying to like force it a little bit, like, oh,
Mhm.
we're evolving it. We're having voting blocks now. And sometimes they stuck to the floating box, voting blocks. Sometimes they mess with a little bit, but it made the season interesting to watch start to finish.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely need to rewatch the season because I will say I haven't watched it in a very long time. So mine's definitely from like how I remember watching it like way back in the day, which is really good. But I can't remember as many of how all the voting blocks, like how they all fumbled into certain spots. I'm
Well,
definitely a little more hazy on it.
I did rewatch this back in November because on the Tribe of Nerds, Joe and I covered a few episodes. That's one of the ones I covered. And this one, it was like, I would say it was pretty dynamic because you had
Mhm.
some people where it was like, all right, we should probably get them out. And I would say that most people were like, well, maybe we shouldn't let, certain people win, or maybe they are a
Mhm.
threat. Now, voting blocks didn't always, because obviously Kelly made Survivor history with most negated votes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's obviously the iconic tribal council there.
yeah, and that ended Savage's run, unfortunately for him.
Mhm.
You get, like if you're a big fan of like, it's a thing. I'm a big fan of Spencer, so that's probably why,
Uh,
those 2 seasons are up high for me.
mhm.
You also have Keith Nail, um, but damn, like my first time rewatching that season after his passing and him
Uh,
riding the tuk tuk, uh, there's a line that Joe says. It was like, I just imagine him being like retired and he's just having the time of his life, just riding off in the sand. And I'm like, kind of hits a little different now.
yeah.
Um,
He's riding
you get a
that
little bit,
tuk in heaven right now.
yeah. You got Jeremy playing a pretty strong playing a pretty strong game throughout. You get Abby Maria again,
Mhm.
being, icon, almost like almost a redemption season for her a little bit.
Mhm.
Because she kind of gets taken in by some of the old school. You like Terry like takes a liking and is like, I think you've gotten a lot of shit for no reason. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna bring you in and you don't have to worry about tribal council.
Yeah.
Uh unfortunately, Terry did get he did remove himself from the game because his son it was like having a medical crisis at home,
Yeah.
which was very sad because like I said, big fan of Terry Dietz.
Yeah, it felt
But
like Terry Deeds should have probably come back for Game Changers after having something like that happen. Like,
absolutely.
they brought a lot of people back who missed the thing. I felt like he also kind of missed being on the season because of that.
Because I think it's a very different game if he makes it to the merge.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think if your favorites do very well in this season is going to be very high on your list.
I think that's the case with almost every season, right? If your favorites, you're happy that you get to see your favorites more.
I'll say it's a little apparent this time around, especially
Yeah.
because I feel like the voting aspect of it really
Mhm.
plays a factor. I know you didn't get because you became a Survivor fan a little bit after this season.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I missed
there
the
is a little,
voting, which does suck.
yeah. I will say there is a little sentiment too, because this is the first season I watched in LA.
Mhm.
And you know me, I'm a sentimental guy. So there is that.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, I know
so
the final six votes with Kimmy going out, but it's like the very chaotic where they have like Keith almost becomes like forced to go out of the game because of a potential rock draw. They can't make a consensus. And so Keith has to then be like, okay, I guess it's Kimmy, but he doesn't want to at first. That's also pretty iconic tribal council, I feel. Um, I
yeah,
remember
well, no,
uh,
he straight up would have gone
yeah.
home because
Yeah,
he
that's
was
what
the only one.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. He would have been forced to go home. And Jeff literally like brought out a whiteboard and like went through like this is what happened, and he went through the how everything kind of broke down for that. But yeah.
yeah. But it was a great season to watch. I
Mhm.
wish they would do something like where we could vote on the cast again. I wish they
Yeah.
would have brought that back for 50. Like,
Yeah, but instead they gave us a lot of BS stupid voting options, and then the things that kind of did matter, they were just like, no, don't you want fire that has given us the greatest moments in Survivor history, or just a vote?
the illusion of choice.
Yeah,
Yeah. The illusion of choice, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, awesome season.
yeah. Okay, now on to the other season that is tied for number one. Everyone here knows what it is. It is Heroes versus villains. That's right.
Yeah.
This, I mean, there is no more iconic cast than this cast. This
No,
is,
it ate.
I'd say out of the 20 people here, like 16 of them are like some of the biggest legends in the Survivor space ever.
I agree. I think yeah, there's a few things where I was like, huh, really?
Mhm.
But no, I feel like from start to finish, by far the best All-Star season,
Mhm.
arguably one of the best seasons ever. It is sad seeing some people go home early, like Sari getting idled out, Boston, like if you're a huge Boston Rob fan going up, it kind of sucked to see Tyson. I would say it is, I don't want to say harder to watch now, but because I met Sugar and everything, we talked a lot. It does suck seeing her go home. Uh, but you also have some people coming back. You get Jerry, you get Coach, you get Russell Hantz,
Mhm.
kind of like steamrolling the game, like
Yeah.
because they had no idea who he was. You're seeing a whole bunch of like old favorites returning, like Colby. You got Rupert. Uh, you have a bunch of fun people from like start to finish. And Sandra ending up winning was a little bit of a surprise when I first watched,
Mhm.
but on a rewatch and me being older, wiser, well, me being older and more familiar with the show, I need to check myself. Not wiser. Uh it's such a great time. Such
Yeah.
a great season.
Yeah. I mean, I still am in the camp that Parvati should have won the season. I do think that she played a good game, but wasn't the bully that Russell was.
I think
So
because she was too associated to Russell. Like, I get the
yeah.
argument. I feel like if she won, it still would have been a solid season.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think it would have been better.
it probably would have made it number one for me. I
Yeah.
know, like, well, all right. I will also say with the top three, it might depend on when you ask me.
Uh,
It's that, like it's that close for me. It
uh,
will depend on the day you ask me or where I am at in life.
yeah. Yeah, this has just always kind of been number one for me. I feel like it's just chock full of iconic moments throughout it. The pre-merge is probably one of the best pre-merges in the history of Survivor. Also,
Agreed.
just a lot of fun dynamics that are happening. And then yeah, the JT idol where he gives it to Russell and it gets used against him at the merge there to take him out instead is iconic. Uh and even though the villains start to do a steamroll, like you still have Russell who ends up turning on Danielle, as
Yeah.
well. There's a lot of moments that constantly kind of keep you on your toes about what's going to happen
Let's not
next.
let's not even forget how that steamroll came to be
Mm.
with the official dumbest move in Survivor history. JT giving an idol.
I just said that.
What you did?
Yeah, I said where JT gave his idol to Russell and it gets used against him at the merge. I did say that already.
Whoops. Sorry.
All good, all
Maybe
good.
I'd value opinion more if or what you say more if you valued what I said more.
No, I think you just kind of zoned out. Or
Had
you
a-
or you thought about what about that and then I said it and then you went for it. Don't worry, I've done that too.
No, it's but to expand upon what you're
Mhm.
saying,
Yeah, yeah.
uh is that, that is another thing where it's like never been done in Survivor before. Trying to give your idol to someone on the other tribe.
Mhm.
And there's a reason for it. It's something where it's very high risk, or it's very high risk, low reward, because it's like you're giving someone on the villains tribe.
Yeah.
He was just chosen from his previous season instead of like a Richard Hatch or a
Mhm.
Penner or someone like that. To like there's a reason he's there and that he was brought in to
Yeah.
give him an idol
Uh-huh.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it just paints a target because now the letter got read to Parvati about taking out Parvati, and now it's like, okay, well, there are people who are now absolutely not going to want to work with you come the merge.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When you ever enter a merge, you want options. You want as many people to be willing to work with you because you want to have the chance to go where you need to go. And I mean, if it worked out, if Russell truly was on the bottom and it was an all girls thing, it would have been a great movie. We would be praising JT probably as a 2-time winner. Like just straight up, he probably wins the game because he was very well positioned in his heroes tribe. Everyone on the heroes tribe loved him just like in Tocantins. It pretty much takes this going the wrong way for him to get taken out here.
Yeah, it is sad too, because like
Mhm.
like because like especially during the time he was like the golden boy. He was like the new Colby basically,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
for him to go out that way, and like other great portions of this, a little bit redemption arc for both Colby and Jerry as well,
Mhm.
where it's like, yeah, they're older, wiser, they've had a little bit more life. Colby coming from, kind of like a loser, like the most iconic line from the season, the Superman in a fat suit,
Mhm.
and him having to like, it actually benefited him because, he was the last hero standing because he was not deemed a threat.
Yeah.
Jerry almost winning the season, uh, all of it. And then another sad thing that happened, Tyson getting himself voted out because he put the vote in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And
I
it
know why
ended
you
in
said
him.
sad, but also iconic
It
move.
is iconic.
Yeah.
It is iconic.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but such a fantastic season.
Yeah. It's one of those seasons that there's a reason why everyone wants a heroes versus villains too, because this season
Yeah,
was so good that everyone's just like, we got to do it again. It's one of the themes that worked the best, and so everyone wants to see it again.
I agree.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that is
Okay,
it.
that does
Um,
it. We managed to make it through. This was even longer than
it
part
was
one.
even longer because there was a lot of favorites, and a
Yeah,
lot more hot takes and a lot more of roasting of Ryan,
yeah.
uh, that you had to get through. But it was fun. One of these days I need to rewatch everything. But
It's an undertaking for sure.
well, it's 50 seasons of a show. It's always
Yeah.
going to be a little
And,
trickier that
and if
way.
you dedicate, like, you're gonna watch every season, I mean, the stinkers are coming, and those are always not fun to get through.
Yeah, that was something where during 2020 when I had all that free time, it was a lot easier to do. Now
Mhm.
and then it's like, oh my. Like it would
Yeah,
have to be spread out throughout the year.
yeah, exactly. But we did it, Ryan. We managed to make it through all of the seasons, and now we got winner rankings coming pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be interesting to see some of the hot takes that you got for that one, Ryan.
The average helps.
Yeah, there's one that I know you already know you fucked up on.
I don't know why. Listen, I was trying to get that list organized and stuff. Other stuff was going on, not bad stuff,
Yeah.
but like other stuff was going on. But I was also like excited to make the list, so I maybe did not think it through fully.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk to you about that one. I'm sure you're going to understand the criticism that I'll have for that
Uh,
one.
I just hope that he never watches that episode.
Yeah.
He's gonna be
Okay.
mad at me.
Okay. And yeah, with all that being said, we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.